to Lawrence and Masara Kim and all of them, the journalists sitting in the big capital cities, the big cities and in the capital, who were taking the line from the government and didn't have the courage or the integrity or the professionalism or the character or the motivation to go to those frontline villages. They just bought the line from the government that it wasn't really happening, and they bought the line from the US State Department that this is nomadic tribesmen being forced to move from climate change. The Fulani are not really terrorists. Oh, the fact that they're Muslims got nothing to do with it. Because they're nomadic tribesmen, they're looking for other land. They're looking to go somewhere, you know, and that's forcing them to clash with the Christian villages. Nonsense. That's absolute nonsense. That is just an example to you of how climate has been used as a scam. I mean, it's not just fake. It's much worse than that. All of these systems that are being implemented that are so profoundly dishonest, they're systems of control. How do we control the people, control the information and the narrative, and then have that as cover to do whatever it is that we want to do, which, by the way, is to go into Christian villages and not only annihilate people. I mean, in one of the recent attacks that Truth Nigeria has reported on, putting women and children inside cages in the market and burning them alive. I mean, I was sitting down to dinner in my hometown in Texas one Friday night years ago. My husband was with me. It was when we were trying to get the sound of freedom was being blocked because people didn't want child trafficking to be a conversation everyone was having. And we were doing our best to help get that movie put out. And I got a video. I showed it to my husband as we sat down. He couldn't eat. And it was a young 18-year-old, 17, 18-year-old girl from Nigeria who was pulled from one of the villages. And as they were slicing off her head, they were digging her baby out of her tummy. And she was well advanced in pregnancy. That's the reality of what, you know, when you put those numbers up and you go before your colleagues in Congress and you put those numbers forward, that's what it means in human terms. I mean, Lawrence once was calling Doug and myself. He's sitting in the back of a meat wagon on the bodies of his friends and neighbors with malaria. Remember, after that he went out with malaria for weeks. I mean, these the courage of the people who are on the front lines reporting this cannot be overstated. But the challenge that they face is that the media itself denies the reality that they see and report on with their own eyes and ears. I mean, that's without conscience. Honestly, I stand before all of you in the National Press Club of the United States of America, the most powerful free nation on earth, where we have First Amendment rights. And I mean, I cannot say strongly enough to the press corps, do your job. Do your job. Because we are supposed to be the inspiration and also the safety net for journalists everywhere. It is truly without conscience that you can witness the execution of people and have it denied because journalists are too lazy, too corrupt, too stupid, too cowardly to stand up and tell the truth. That is without conscience. And, you know, we have to stop being afraid of what people will say to us. We have to stop allowing those who tell the truth to be punished and those who lie to be rewarded. There was no Truth Nigeria. There was no media organizations. And you know what was happening to those people? To Lawrence and Masara Kim and all of them? The journalists sitting in the big capital cities, the big cities and in the capital, who were taking the line from the government and didn't have the courage or the integrity or the professionalism or the character or the motivation to go to those frontline villages. They just bought the line from the government that it wasn't really happening, and they bought the line from the US State Department that this is nomadic tribesmen being forced to move from climate change. The Fulani are not really terrorists. Oh, the fact that they're Muslims got nothing to do with it. Because they're nomadic tribesmen, they're looking for other land. They're looking to go somewhere, you know, and that's forcing them to clash with the Christian villages. Nonsense. That's absolute nonsense. That is just an example to you of how climate has been used as a scam. I mean, it's not just fake, it's much worse than that. All of these systems that are being implemented that are so profoundly dishonest, they're systems of control. How do we control the people, control the information and the narrative, and then have that as cover to do whatever it is that we want to do, which, by the way, is to go into Christian villages and not only annihilate people. I mean, in one of the recent attacks that Truth Nigeria has reported on, putting women and children inside cages in the market and burning them alive. I mean, I was sitting down to dinner in my hometown in Texas one Friday night years ago. My husband was with me. It was when we were trying to get the sound of freedom was being blocked because people didn't want child trafficking to be a conversation everyone was having. And we were doing our best to help get that movie put out. And I got a video. I showed it to my husband as we sat down. He couldn't eat. And it was a young 18-year-old, 17, 18-year-old girl from Nigeria who was pulled from one of the villages, and as they were slicing off her head, they were digging her baby out of her tummy. And she was well advanced in pregnancy. That's the reality of what, you know, when you put those numbers up and you go before your colleagues in Congress and you put those numbers forward, that's what it means in human terms. I mean, Lawrence once was calling Doug and myself, he's sitting in the back of a meat wagon on the bodies of his friends and neighbors with malaria. Remember, after that he went out with malaria for weeks. I mean, these the courage of the people who are on the front lines reporting this cannot be overstated. But the challenge that they face is that the media itself denies the reality that they see and report on with their own eyes and ears. I mean, that's without conscience. Honestly, I stand before all of you in the National Press Club of the United States of America, the most powerful free nation on earth, where we have First Amendment rights. And I mean, I cannot say strongly enough to the press corps, do your job. Do your job. Because we are supposed to be the inspiration and also the safety net for journalists everywhere. It is truly without conscience that you can witness the execution of people and have it denied because journalists are too lazy, too corrupt, too stupid, too cowardly to stand up and tell the truth. That is without conscience. And, you know, we have to stop being afraid of what people will say to us. We have to stop allowing those who tell the truth to be punished and those who lie to be rewarded.
Biafra and Biafra television. People are listening, and many of you will be blessed as a result of it. And as I do, good evening, wonderful people, great Biafrans, wherever you are on the face of this very planet Earth, especially those of you watching me live on Instagram. I welcome each and every one of you, and as I do welcome you, as always, I will ask you to welcome those around you. The time now is precisely 2 minutes past 7 p.m. in the blessed land of Biafra, and I should say by the same number of minutes past the top of the hour, regardless of where you are. I welcome you by saying good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night to some of you, because unlike any other, this very broadcast simulcast on multiple platforms this very day, morning, noon, or night, depending on where you are, is being relayed right across the face of this very planet Earth. A lot of people are watching, a lot of people are listening, and many of you will be blessed as a result of it. And as I do welcome you, please endeavor, or should I say, try to welcome other people as well. As you know, Facebook is doing their best to try to suppress what we are doing. They are trying to frustrate us into submission that we may not be able to broadcast as EFIK-IBIBIO has mandated us to, but they have failed very, very woefully, and they will continue to fail. Today's date is the 8th day of March in the year of our Most High Elohim 2021. My name is Anambra-Igbo. I am the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra all over the world, the director of Radio Biafra and Biafra Television, and by the very special grace of the Most High Elohim, a servant of the wonderful people of Biafra. Regardless of where you are, as I said earlier, we are welcoming you, and we are going to pray as it is customary for us to do here. If you want to see me live, see me, I should say, not just hear my voice, you go to my Instagram handle, I should say. It is _, you know, the slash that is at the bottom, _official. A lot of people, I wouldn't say a lot of people, there are about, how many of you? I think about 99 people are now watching. Am I correct? Yes, I think roughly about that. And it's owned by Facebook as well, incidentally, so it won't surprise me if they try to kick us out sometime during the course of this very, I should say, enlightening program this very evening. Once again, I welcome each and every one of you. And before we proceed, we are going to pray. As it is usual with us here on this platform, we pray because we are nothing without the Almighty. We are going to offer praise and adoration to Him as always. And I will, of course, should I say, unfailingly pray in the language of heaven. Some may misunderstand, some of them may try to misconstrue, but one thing is certain right now, in the presence of the Almighty God, Elohim, Adonai, El Shaddai in heaven, the angels are singing, worshiping, and praising the Most High with the very oldest language on the face of this very earth, the Igbo language. And that's how I'm going to pray. Ezi onye nwe anyị na Chineke nna nke pụrụ m ihe niile, Chukwu okike abịa ma bụ onye anyị na-efe na-agọzi aha nsọ ya, onye ọbụla anyị ya na-achị, onye mmụọ na mmadụ na-erubere isi, onye ọbụla anyị ya bụ ọkaka ụbọchị ene ka anyị na-etuga eze ebube dị ngọzi, mmalite na ọgwụgwụ, ndị gboo wee tuo oge ebighị ebi, onye nwe m, ụmụ gị wee gbakọọ n'ụwa niile iwe nara ozi ọma nke gị onwe gị n'ezi ha site n'ọnụ mmadụ dị ndụ nna nke ebere dị ngọzi. Anyị wee na-asị na onweghị ihe ọbụla nke anyị onwe anyị bụ n'ihi na ọ bụ anụkpa ahụ sọsọ ka mmadụ dị ndụ bụ ofu ụbọchị anyị ga-anwụ, maka na okwu nsọ gị na-adịghị ma ruo mgbe ebighị ebi, n'ihi na okwu gị niile ga-abịarịrị na mmezu. Ọ bịa mere Biafra ga-eji wee bịa na mgbe nke anyị. Anyị wee na-akpọkụ gị wee na-arịọ gị na-asị, lekwa ude nke anyị na-asụ n'akwa nke anyị na-ebe ka o metụta gị n'obi. Onye nwe m na Chineke nna nke igwe, biko dịka isi wee napụta ụmụ gị n'ọbụ n'Ijipt, kwetu wee wezuga ụmụ gị bụ ndị Biafra mgbe ekwensu bụ zuu nke mmadụ dị ndụ kere. Anyị wee na-aja gị mma, na-asị gị n'ime ọnọdụ anyị niile anyị ga-ekele ha nsọ gị, wee nye gị nsọpụrụ n'ụtọ na ịja mma mgbe niile, n'ihi na anyị enweghị chi ọzọ ewezuga gị. Anyị onwe anyị anaghị efe arụsị. Ọbịa mere iji wee na-agọzi nzọmụkwụ anyị niile. Ọbịa mere IPOB ji wee gbaa mgbọrọgwụ n'ụwa niile. Anyị anaghị atụ egwu mmadụ dị ndụ. Anyị wee na-eto gị eze ebube dị ngọzi, sị gị biko gbatara anyị ọsọ enyemaka. Ọ bụ naanị gị bụ onye anyị na-efe nwanyị akpụ isi ala nye, ka i wee napụta ndị gị n'ọbụ nke ekwensu. anyị wee na-enye gị na nsọpụrụ na ija mma na-asị lekwa ka ndị iro anyị niile kaka sisi wee baa ha ọnụ ha wee daa hapụghị ikuni ọzọ obodo ekwensu bụ zu ala ọkwa n'iyi eze ebube dị ngọzi anya ọnwa anyị bụ ụmụ gị wee na-akpọkwa ha nsọ gị na-asị na enweghị iche ọzọ egwezuga gị anyị wee na-aja gị mma wee na-eto gị na-asị onye kere ihe niile kere eke mana onwe onye kere na n'otuto niile na nsọpụrụ niile na ịja mma niile site n'ebighị mara onye ebighị ka a na-ajọ gị ise ise ise. Having handed over our proceedings to heaven, we must therefore proceed unfailingly and very speedily to preach this very gospel that we have been mandated to preach this very day, because heaven and earth will bear us witness that they came in their time and the gospel of redemption was preached and men were saved from their folly. This evening I will start by calling upon Bishop Coker, or should I say all the Catholics around the world, to please warn Bishop Coker to desist from making statements and comments that will annoy God Almighty in heaven. If he continues in the manner that we have deduced he is likely to follow, then I will place curse on him in public. I'm not saying this very lightly because he is a man that I have enormous regard and respect for. Bishop Coker, I respect him. I love him immensely. But he came up with some statements which are, should I say, unbecoming of a sensible, reasonable human being. Therefore, he must retrace his steps. We must also remind ourselves that a few days ago, I said something about those of them trying their damnedest best to try to keep Nigeria together, a zoological republic that should not exist in the first place. And this evening, I want to reinforce this very fact, that the curse that I placed upon United Kingdom, a people that I revere and I love very much, people that I hold their citizenship and have sworn allegiance to, and will continue to defend their interest, genuine interest, of course, because I am an Anglophile at heart. That very Britain today, it is not been up to 7 days that I made that statement live here on air. The leader of the Welsh people have come out to make a categorical statement that Britain no longer exists in their own thinking. This is what I want to guide the thinking of all our people. I want it to guide our understanding of what is happening in the zoo, and to understand also the spiritual dimension which we have chosen to pursue this very noble cause. According to Mark Drakeford, who is the leader of the Welsh people in the UK, and I quote, "The United Kingdom is over," he said. UK, as I told you a few days ago, that anybody who has a hand or who is trying to keep Nigeria together, their kingdom or their entity will disintegrate. These are the things that I want you to understand this very evening, that Nigeria has expired. The wrath of Almighty God is upon Nigeria. Look at Tinubu, for example, what the Yorubas are going through on his account. Look at how the Christian minorities in the north are being slaughtered and brutally massacred by the Janjaweed elements of the caliphate. Because the likes of Bishop Coker is there preaching unity that he knows doesn't exist. Because Britain is directly involved in trying to keep together what God Almighty has rendered asunder. That is the reason why Mark Drakeford has come out to say that United Kingdom is over. He's a very heavyweight politician in the UK, the leader of the Welsh people. He is the first minister of the Welsh people. Wales, of course, in the UK is a principality. And mind you, Prince Charles is supposed to be the Prince of Wales, or should I say the titular head of the government of Wales people. But here we have Mark Drakeford saying it categorically that Britain is over. And I warned Britain, if you continue to meddle in the affairs of Nigeria to the extent whereby you are presenting a stumbling block to the emancipation of the children of God, the children of light, United Kingdom will be decimated. Because you're very proud and very arrogant, because you think that you're Caucasian, you're white, you can do anything and get away with it, you may think that the disintegration of the UK has nothing to do with Biafra, but I can assure you categorically that it has. if you do not stop meddling in Nigeria, if you do not stop this, your, should I say, perverted, racist devotion to keeping people who shouldn't be one together in one monstrous entity called the Zoological Republic of Nigeria, believe you me, God Almighty in heaven will destroy Britain beyond recognition. And it started to happen already. It is happening already. I warned you and I told you. You may disregard the agitation for Biafra and tag it as nothing. Because you came, you saw, you conquered, and you colonized. But I'm warning you today, if you continue, the wrath of God will be upon you. As I warned the zoo many, many years ago, if you don't allow we Biafrans to go, that zoological republic called Nigeria will be a worse place than Somalia. And today it is happening. And if you have not applied for your Somalian visa, please try and do so. Should I say Somali visa? Try and do so as quickly as possible, because the zoo is on the path of destruction. And there is nothing man can do to reverse it. Mark today's date and what I'm telling you. Nigeria will be destroyed beyond human comprehension. So says the Lord of hosts. Anything I tell you here is gospel. Anything I open my mouth to tell you must come to pass. Because Almighty determined that we should come. And we have come to preach this very gospel in truth and in every honesty. And I want Britain to understand this today. If you stand as an obstacle on the path of Biafra freedom, you will be destroyed. The same way that the late dead Buhari tried. Buhari tried to stop Biafra from coming. Today he's in a shallow grave in Saudi Arabia. Not only that, that kingdom he was trying to build is now shaking. That very kingdom, that very Fulani Caliphate, the Fulani takeover of Nigeria is in tatters. Because we are here, or should I say, Chukwokika determined that we should come. And nothing, absolutely nothing is going to stop us from performing the will of the Almighty. Today I can tell you categorically that in the United Kingdom, the First Minister of Wales, part and parcel of this United Kingdom that colonized, enslaved, subjugated, and still colonizing the zoo called Nigeria till today, a part of Britain have now said that they're going to divide. They will leave. Scotland will leave. Wales will leave. Northern Ireland will join the Irish Republic, and you only have the Little England at last. And when all these things are happening to them because of their pride and ego, they will not acknowledge that the work they did against the children of God in Biafra land is what is responsible for their demise as a once great nation or a once great people. They are also on the path of decline, and nothing can reverse it unless they stop meddling in the affairs of Biafra. The United Kingdom is over, and a new union should be crafted to reflect a voluntary association of four nations. In other words, Britain will no longer exist. You have England, you have Wales, you have Scotland, and you have Northern Ireland. The reason for that is because they meddled in the affairs of the children of God. As I told you earlier, Almighty God in heaven has a way of punishing his children. And we have been roundly punished, believe you me. If you have to be subjugated under the very cruel, barbaric rule of Fulani Janjaweedism, you will understand what we are talking about. As I'm speaking to you right now, most villages are under siege. There are killings and rapings, abductions and murder going on right across the length and breadth of the Zoological Republic. But they cannot understand what is happening to them. They know that the problem of insecurity in Nigeria is intractable for the simple reason that they have failed, should I say, to allow Biafra to go. The sooner they understand this or realize this, the better for everybody. But I'm not sure they will, because they are very stubborn. And as God hardened the heart of Pharaoh to fail, so are they also going to fail. And that is why those of them who are in Benue State, that is why the likes of Governor Autumn or the very young man who was mouthing his rubbish a day or two ago concerning the deployment of Eastern Security Network into Lower Benue is in for a very, very difficult and horrible experience of their lives. I must warn also Governor Autumn of Benue State. I am not laying claim to Benue State, the entirety of Benue State, not at all. What I'm making very clear to you is that there are Igbo people, Igbo communities, not traders, not migrants, not settlers, no. These are our traditional towns, communities, and villages wickedly gerrymandered into the north. That you have Igbo people today answering Igbo names, speaking Igbo language, who are answering to Northerners. An abomination before God Almighty in heaven. I will not allow it to continue. Those Igbo-speaking parts of Benue State is part and parcel of Biafra, part and parcel of the eastern region. And should anything happen to them, if you fail to control Fulani incursion into that very territory, then ESN will continue to do their work. And I have commended them earlier and allow me to do so again at this very moment. I commend the men and women, not just of our high command, but also of the Eastern Security Network that successfully pursued and apprehended a notorious Fulani bandit by the name Muhammad Isa. We have the videos. For those of them claiming he's an old man, they're all lying, and they know it very well. He is the leader of a gang of abductors, of rapists, and of murderers, tormenting our farming communities. But I'm glad to report this very evening, morning or night, depending on where you are, that that menace, that threat has been permanently put to bed. It will no longer happen. Should our people in Benue State be subjected to further attacks, I am also informing Governor Autumn of Benue State. I will make sure that ESN returns to that very area. Or should I say, come out of the bushes to confront whoever comes against the children of the Most High God, Elohim in heaven. This is a warning to all of you. For those of you that specialize, should I say, in twisting the obvious, in turning truth into lies, I never claimed the whole of Benue State. You people carved Igbo people into Benue, which is unacceptable. We are in an era, not that of the old, compromised, and discredited Ohaneze Ndiara and Ndiuchu. Not in that very era. No, we are not in that anymore. We are not in the era of compromised governors in the pocket of the Fulani Caliphate. No. We are now in the era of IPOB. And no inch of territory belonging to traditional, should I say, ethnicities making up Biafra will be surrendered to anybody, no. And in Benue State, we have taught them, while they were discussing that, don't come to Benue, we are already on the ground in Benue State, in Lower Benue. And we are not in Benue State that doesn't belong to us. We are in Igbo parts of Benue State, Igbo communities of Benue State. And we are there to defend them, and that is precisely what we are going to do, and nobody is going to discourage us otherwise. We are making it very clear today that the Eastern Security Network is on the ground. We are on the ground in Benue State, and in every part of Biafra land for that matter. We are in Cross River, we are in Akwa Ibom, we are in Bayelsa. Everywhere it is happening. Anywhere we confront Fulani headsmen, these terrorists, we will drive them away. Be rest assured, we are not going to rest one iota until our farmlands, our homes, and our forests are secure. What is happening in Yoruba land cannot happen in Biafra land. Nobody, no idiot can come from anywhere to claim any inch or parcel of Biafran forest. It is not doable. Instead, we all die there. That is why I am making this presentation live, at least for those of you who may be able to come over on Instagram, that I am on Instagram and I'm live. If you want to see a live video of this very broadcast, it is there. You can and should be able to see it. Anywhere in Biafra land we confront Fulani terrorists, we shall meet them head on. We know that they are part of the police and the army. Danjuma himself, General T.Y. Danjuma himself, testified before the British Parliament that the army of Nigeria and the police are colluding in the conquest of indigenous populations in Nigeria. And we are no exception to that very horrible and sinister conspiracy. The police we have in our land are terrorists in uniform. The army we have in Biafra land are basically terrorists. They are there to aid and to support Fulani Janjaweed advancement to the Atlantic Ocean. and we are there to stop them, and we are stopping them, and will continue to stop them. A few days ago, as I said, we embedded our men and women of the Northern Command of Eastern Security Network. When we said Northern Command, people were confused. Biafra land is a nation. We have Northern Biafra, we have Central, we have the South, which is the coastal region, we have the East, and we have the West. When I talk about the Northern Command, I'm talking about the northern part of Biafra land, which incidentally starts from Benue State. So we are right to be there. If you don't want us to be in Benue State, quietly go back to Abuja and appeal to them. Tell them to release Igbo people in Benue and carve them back into Ebonyi State, where they should belong, or Enugu State, as the case may be. Therefore, anybody, one thing about Nigeria is that they tend to defend the aggressor. It is in their DNA in Nigeria to always support evil. That is why this very newspaper publication, I don't have a means of putting it here on Instagram where I am broadcasting live, where you can see my face and my facial expression, but it will be on my Facebook page. If you go there, you will see it. This publication was made on January 23 of 2021, this very year. It is a front page news by Vanguard. I want you to understand how an average Nigerian thinks, how they reason, why I think that Nigeria itself is a curse upon humanity. There on the front page, you will see, we will kill all policemen and take over Edo State. Fulani Janjaweed, those they claim are foreigners. These people they told us are foreigners. They come from Mali, from Senegal, from Gambia, from heaven knows where, from Niger, from Chad, from Northern Cameroons. But they are in Nigeria, killing people. After killing us, they will not turn around and tell us to absorb them into our communities. That is why anybody, any Igwe, any PG, any greedy, avaricious fool, stupid enough to give any of our land to Fulani Janjaweed, you are finished. There was a man in Enugu that tried the same nonsense. Go and ask him where he is today. We take no prisoners. You see, the land of Biafra must be defended at all cost. At all cost. It is the land of God, given to his children for their eternal habitation. We may have failed in the past to recognize this very fact, but now that this generation has come, there is nothing anybody can do to stop us from restoring the kingdom of God upon the face of this very earth in the land of Biafra, without apologies to anybody. I understand that the Sadikin Fulani of Lagos went to see the US ambassador to Nigeria in Lagos a few days ago. And according to the message, or should I say information coming out of the US mission, they said is to foster cohabitation and unity, that diversity is strength. And I want to lay that particular nonsensical narrative to bed tonight before I continue any further. Anybody telling you about strength in diversity, that person is a liar and a deceiver. And the US ambassador is a liar and a deceiver. One thing they don't teach we Africans is this. No country exists on a foundation of multiculturalism. There is nowhere in the world. Listen to me very carefully. All this nonsense, even the crap that Coca was coming up with, telling you about diversity is our strength and all that rubbish. Allow me to repeat, there is no country on this earth that survives on a foundation or a bedrock of multiculturalism. It doesn't exist. That is why multiculturalism in Africa is dead on arrival. It can never work. Because we are tribal beasts by nature. We are tribal by nature. That is why we travel from wherever we are during New Year's, during Christmas, during Easter, during New Year Festival to go back home where we come from. Because that is where we identify with. Now, let me ask the US ambassador a very simple question. Is United States of America a multicultural society? US, that was created and built by Western Europeans. US was created, should I say, created by God, of course. Built by Western Europeans. Mostly English people that was fed up with the way of life of the English monarchy. They went to America on Mary Rose. I want to ask the US ambassador, I want to teach Africans what they don't know this evening. There is no country that functions on this multi-ethnic rubbish. Nowhere in the world, not even the USA, that was created by people who are not indigenous to America. The owners of the soil of America are Native American Indians. That is a fact of life. God gave America to Western Europe to develop and gave them a special grace to be the beacon and the light and the conscience of the world. Because God knew that if He had left all these wonderful people in Europe, they would become contaminated. He removed them from Europe, sent them to America, built a wonderful nation as a shining light and a beacon for the whole world to look up to. Even that America that was built from scratch by people who are not indigenous to the land is not multicultural. Why am I saying this? America was founded on the principles of Judeo-Christian, Greco-Roman, democratic value systems. I repeat, America is not multicultural. They accommodate other races and other nations. Yes, they can accommodate you. But where you're coming into, the bedrock, the foundation of America is based on Judeo-Christian principles, Greco-Roman political ideology, which is republicanism. America is not multicultural. America is Western Europe. The value systems of Western Europe, Judeo-Christian, Greco-Roman, Republican governance. Had America been a multicultural society, they would have space for Sharia. I'm now addressing the US ambassador to try to tell them to stop deceiving people. We are educated, we went to school for a reason. We are enlightened and we have our brain intact. There is no country on this earth that runs on this wishy-washy multiculturalism. It doesn't happen. What you have are established order and value systems upon which various cultures can now coexist. If you go to America, you coexist under the provisions of the United States Constitution. And the US Constitution is a Christian constitution, not Islam. America is not multicultural, but under that bedrock of liberty and egalitarianism, you allow other cultures to come in. But first of all, they must swear allegiance to or take an oath to uphold the Constitution of the USA. That is something that the US ambassador never told the Janjaweed that went to visit her. The same way that Nigeria cannot function as a viable entity. Wole Soyinka knows what I'm talking about. I'm even sure somebody who claims he's learned, as Bishop Coker is, understands what I'm talking about. No country on this earth. The value system of the state of Israel is based on Judaic principles. The value system of Russia is entirely theirs, it's based on theirs. It's the Russian way of doing things from times of the Tsar. If you go to Saudi Arabia, it is essentially a Sharia Islamic state. You can live there, no problem. You can build your churches if you want. I think they've not ready to allow churches to be built. But it is never a multicultural society. Japan is not a multicultural society. China is not. They can accommodate you, but that doesn't mean they are multicultural. This is the type of nonsense they feed Africans. And we fall for that very gimmick of multiculturalism. At the end of the day, you end up with a useless contraption like Nigeria. You don't have any value system that anybody anywhere can define. If I talk about the USA, I can talk about hamburger in the USA. We can talk about, what else do they have in the USA? Hamburger, you can talk about, what's it called? What are the traditional dishes? Apple pie and all the rest of it. You can say that these are American dishes. If you go to the UK, you can talk about maybe mashed potato and bangers and mash, which is sausage and mashed potato, as their national meal. That's understandable. But I ask you, if you come to Nigeria, what is the national dish of Nigeria? Does the Fulani Janjaweed eat ofe egusi, where we come from? Does an Igbo man eat a wedu soup? The answer is no. So on what basis is all this so-called multicultural foundation going to be laid upon? On what? We are not one people. We may be black, we may be Africans, but we're not one people. not even one religion. If Britain cannot stay in an EU that is entirely Christian, EU is entirely Christian. Britain left. Nigeria, you don't know if Nigeria is Christian or in fact is Islamic. So for me to accept the multiculturalism being preached by the US ambassador, I have to embrace Islam as my religion. That's what it means. And some of you get taken in by all this rubbish. And I feel sorry for you. Yeah, sometimes when I say this, I'm being very arrogant. If you're educated, you will understand that no nation is multicultural. They allow other cultures to come in. It doesn't mean they're multicultural. They have a viable space where multicultural ideas or identities can thrive. But the foundation has to be monolithic. It has to be one dominant value system and ideology. That's how it is all over the world. Don't let anybody fool you otherwise. That is the same reason why you have this anomaly. In a so-called republic, you have royal fathers in a republic. Because you are trying to shuffle multiculturalism. You are trying to marry the feudal system of the North, the monarchical system of the West, and the Republican system in the East, to marry them into one. And what you have is entirely rubbish, and that is why Nigeria can never work. Not now, not tomorrow, not ever. Competing value systems. Nobody wants their own value system to be subsumed under another person's value system. This is something that the US ambassador never told you. But here I am telling you today. Because if you come here, you become educated. If you come here, you become enlightened. If you come here, you stop being a zoo animal, you become a human being. That is why we are the largest and, of course, the most consistent broadcasting platform insofar as Africa is concerned, right across the world. Millions listen to us because they know we preach the truth, the whole truth and nothing but the truth. That is why this very day, because you are in one Nigeria, in multiculturalism, the army will come to Olo to defend Fulani Janjaweed living in our forests. We went to Olo to defend our people. They came, they arrested the clerics. Men of God, they arrested all of them. How many times have you heard that imams were being arrested in the north? Or that villages were being invaded in the north and imams being arrested? Only in Biafra land. And this is your multiculturalism. This is a place where you want all of us to stay, somehow to pretend that all is well when we know that it is not. In that same Nigeria is where Fulani headsmen openly boast about conquest. Benue State is one. That is why I feel sorry for the idiots talking rubbish from Benue. They came and they made the same bold claim on Edo State. And I quote, "We will kill all policemen and take over Edo State." Vanguard publication of January 23, 2021, this year. Only 2 months ago. Nothing happened to them. Only the Fulanis can lay claim to land that doesn't belong to them and nobody will say anything. When you try to respond, they come against you. And your average foolish Nigerian who cannot reason properly, they're not educated very well, I'm sorry to say, will side with the oppressor. It's only in Nigeria where the victim becomes the accused. You came into Olo, Hope Uzodinma tried to give you land in Olo to build a Fulani settlement, and we said no to it. That's all. To talk about Olo crisis. And now they're trying to blame IPOB, they're trying to blame Eastern Security Network. But all of you are aware of the fact that Nigeria Army and Nigeria Police are essentially Fulani Janjaweed terrorists in uniform. The newspapers, all the articles, everywhere, the national discourse is replete with instances of Fulani being supplied by the military, as you're going to listen to later on. But nothing happens. When you try to fight back, you become the victim. And we are saying we are fed up of being victims. We can no longer be victims anymore. If you kill us, we will kill you. I'm saying it live on video, so you can share the video all over the world if you want. If you come to our land to kill us, we will kill you. As simple as that. It may take us some time, but eventually we'll overwhelm you. Well, in the end, we always win. As I warned them in Benue, we are in Benue. In all of our communities in Benue State, and we're not living there until we are certain that the lives and properties of our people there are firmly secured. Any day we learn to stop blaming the victims, this world will be a better place. I'm directing this very statements to the US Ambassador, to the UK High Commissioner, to the EU presence in the zoo, and the UN as well. I know all of you will do nothing. We are not Muslims, so you're not going to help us. That's obvious. We know that for sure. But we have something that you do not have. We have the grace, the might, and protection of God Almighty in heaven. And we know that God exists. And as long as He liveth, as my name is Nnamdi, my Redeemer liveth, as long as God lives in heaven, all of you can never triumph against us. Ojukwu said it before, and you said he failed. We know why he failed, because God said the time wasn't right. I want to show them, my children, what is called Biafra, that very kingdom. They have to fight their way into it. If that is the option you leave for us, then by all means, we'll oblige you. But Biafra must come, or we all die. It's as simple as that. There's no alternative. People must understand the rage that is boiling within us. You must understand how angry we are. We may look normal to you, but we are very, very angry, believe you me. And by the time we are done with Nigeria, the name won't exist. That I can assure you. You people are now beginning to see the type of madness that we are capable of unleashing. And more is coming. And I do not hide it, because you hate us anyway. This conspiracy against Biafra, for no reason, we've done nothing wrong to anyone. But you despise us and you hate us. You want us to die because God gave us oil and gas. You want to take over our land. It's not going to happen. And we're not apologizing nor begging anybody to please read this letter. They are raping our women. They raped our women. Did you do anything about it? They went to the UK High Commissioner. They were telling them, oh, we can't do anything about it. Rape victims. But you're doing something about defending Fulani. You are defending Fulani. But rape victims in front of you cannot defend them. And you're neutral. And you want Nigeria to continue. So you want me to stay in a Nigeria where my women will be raped every day. Nobody will do anything about it. And I'll be clapping for you. One Nigeria, I'll be clapping for you. Check it up, mad people everywhere. People are insane. You want me to stay in a country where the Fulani police and soldiers can come and take our women, rape them anyhow they like. Even before they release them, they charge us. Do you know how much we have spent? We have spent nearly 9 million naira to secure the release of people who were abducted and raped. Victims of state crime. Britain didn't say anything. UN never uttered a word. EU, nothing. US, nothing. And you want me to be in that country? I think some people are mad. Very, very insane indeed. If you do not believe in what we are doing, then you better get out. We're not going to stop. God knows we can never stop until Biafra is restored. We are peace-loving people. We abhor death and killing of another soul. It's in our nature, that's how we are. But because of that, they have been coming and killing us all these years. We've kept quiet. They've been killing and killing and killing quiet. We have a case at the ICC. We have a case at Africa Union. We have a case at, what else again? Pending before the UN in New York. We've been to Geneva to tender our case. Before UN, till today, nothing. In fact, the more we complain to them, the more they come to abduct and rape our children, the more they come to kill us, the more they want to take over our land and our forests. And who told them that's going to be possible in our time? In a time, in a movement that I lead, you think you can come into our land and take it over? Oh dear. That means you don't know who we are. 30 pastors arrested for doing nothing. Have you heard about any imams being arrested in the north? No. Do you want me to stay in one Nigeria with you after this level of injustice? Is that what you think? No, it is not going to happen. Not now, not tomorrow. There are two things plaguing them in the zoo. Lies and deceit. If not for the coming of IPOB, of Radio Biafra, all of you would have lived and died in the ignorance that Ojukwu caused a war. That's what they were writing. Britain helped them to write it. Ojukwu was a rebel, a secessionist, because we had no media. That is why they're paying Facebook billions upon billions of US dollars to stop this truth from coming out. Did Ojukwu cause any war? Gowon is alive, go and ask him. Did Ojukwu cause any war? Ojukwu went and negotiated restructuring with you in Aburi. You came back. Britain told you not to agree because Britain realized that all the component units of Britain knows that if you go back to regionalism, you will have economic growth. The country will do very well. But Britain doesn't want it. That was why they even instigated the Nzogwu coup, so-called Nzogwu coup, saying they will bring Awolowo to become the head of state. They knew what was going to happen. They wanted to truncate the economic miracle of Dr. Michael. But what I'm telling you are fast. Go and investigate for yourself. In the East, you had the fastest growing economy in the whole world, over 40% every year. In the West, Awolowo was performing his own miracle as well. Even in the North, Ahmadu Bello and Tafawa Balewa were doing very well. You had all those massive industries in the North. You even had Alamajiris that were employed in the North, meaningfully employed, gainfully employed. They were all doing very well. Britain said, no, for us to control these people, we need to impoverish them. Let us introduce this war. There was a coup by Nzogwu. And after that, there was the massacre of, as usual, massacre of our people in the North. Ojukwu said, I have to secure my land and my people. They said, no, let's go to Aburi to discuss it. Ojukwu went to Aburi and agreed restructuring. That's something now you're asking for. To tell you how foolish Nigerians are. They're very foolish. That same nonsense you're asking for now was discussed many years ago. Ojukwu sat down in Aburi with Gowon and decided that regionalism was the best way forward, restructuring, going back to who you were, 1963 Constitution, 1960-1963 Constitution. Be on your own and pay tax to the central government, as they have in America, as they have even in Britain. Britain, you have Scotland that is almost independent, Wales, the same thing, everybody is free, but Britain doesn't want the same thing they're enjoying to happen in Nigeria. Why? Ask yourself that question. Anybody telling you about one Nigeria is your enemy. I'll prove it to you now. Ojukwu negotiated devolution, regionalism. The North will be on their own, the West on their own, even Midwest on their own, and then the East on their own. It's the same one Nigeria. On their way to the airport, before they boarded the aircraft, a call came from Lagos, from the British High Commissioner in Lagos, to Gowon, telling Gowon not to agree, after having signed the agreement. That same Gowon you're looking at today, God kept me alive so that he can witness the destruction he will bring upon that very zoo called Nigeria. Gowon said no. Do you know all the journalists in Nigeria, none of them have ever gone to Gowon to ask him, why did he say no to Aburi? Aburi was restructuring. None of those agitating for restructuring right now has ever gone to Gowon or gone to Nigeria to say, but Ojukwu negotiated restructuring. What happened? They came back and they said no. Ojukwu said, okay, so you want to continue to kill my people all over the place? No. Because of that, I'll declare Biafra. Today, they have brainwashed all of you with the perverse notion and thinking that somehow Ojukwu is responsible for causing a war, when opposite is the case. If not now, that after many years of hammering on this very topic, it has now sunk into the skull of the people that Gowon was the aggressor, not Ojukwu. That's how Nigeria is, always blaming the victim. And we lost over 5 million people during that very genocidal war. They killed over 5 million Biafrans. They wanted to wipe us away from the face of this very earth. But we survived it, and we are here today. Those they gave birth to, they have come. And this time with a wrath that you cannot even begin to imagine. And Biafra must come. It must come. Two things are bothering the zoo right now. You know, when God wants to destroy a nation, it comes in many ways. One, Buhari is dead. They brought in a fake. It is now dawning on the people very slowly that there is no more Buhari. People are now beginning to realize it. What I find astonishing are people that they claim are stakeholders in the zoo, those who should know better, those who should be, should I say, lead this very campaign to uncover the truth. They're all running away, they're all hiding. Do you know why they're hiding? Because the people talking about a late dead Buhari are those that oil and gas comes from their region. And they all think that they need oil and gas to survive. That is why they're all quiet. If not that Dino Malaya came out a few days ago, of course Obasanjo said it, even Aisha Buhari said it, but the husband is dead. They all pretended as if they didn't know. And we know that Buhari is dead. And when that very issue erupts the way and manner it would, later on in the coming weeks and months, the zoo cannot contain the fallout. That is number one. Number two is that everybody keeps talking about there seems to be no government, there is no direction because Buhari is not there. That is why you have no direction. That is why the country seems to be drifting. That is why there is no sense of purpose, no cohesion, because there is no Buhari. So what you have are competing interests and ideas from the Fulani cabal that is ruling the zoo, ruling all of you. You know that little boy is not Buhari. Everybody knows that. How many Buharis are you going to have before you begin to reason and begin to think? When I said it, they said it was conspiracy theory, and I said with time, today people are coming out to confirm what we have always known. What we have always known, that Buhari is dead. That is why you have what is called a drift in the government. That is why there is no clear focus, there is no clear-cut direction, not at all. If not that I talked about Aisha Buhari in my last broadcast, I wouldn't have brought her out today to speak. And she only issued a statement. Nobody saw her. She's in Dubai having fun with her boyfriend, your first lady. And I asked them, in whose reign or regime in Nigeria or anywhere else in the world do you have a first lady missing in office? Only in Nigeria. But you as a Nigerian cannot ask any questions because of the way you reason. The problem you have as a Nigerian is in your brain. The way you reason is flawed. Ask yourself this question. If this woman's husband is alive, what is she doing in Dubai? And with who in Dubai? Simple question. But you can't ask yourself that question because you're a Nigerian. Sometimes you don't reason very well. It is not meant to be an insult. I'm just telling you the fact of life. Buhari is no longer alive. The various Fulani groups within, some are sponsoring terrorists from all over the place to come to your land to kill you. And you want to be in the same country with the same people that imported terrorists to come to kill you. I don't understand it. You see, I am struggling to understand how some of you reason. They call themselves your patrons. They say you are Nigerians. Is that correct? Why would a fellow Nigerian go outside to the Sahel to pay people to come to kill you? They are fellow Nigerian. And after killing you, they say that those murderers and killers are now entitled to live in your forests and in your farmlands. Are all of you okay at all? Because I am struggling to understand how you people reason. The reason why I'm saying this is this. The gullible ones amongst you are the ones they are deceiving. They are deceiving all of you. And for some perverse reason, you tend to fall for it. But we have not fallen for it. And wonders shall never end. You saw the little boy that they were giving, they said they're giving him COVID-19 vaccine. And I ask you in all honesty, there are pastors and truth tellers and men of God, I believe, in Nigeria. Look at the hand of that boy. You've seen the pictures and the videos everywhere. Is that the hand of an 80-year-old man? How can all of a sudden Osinbajo is now older than Buhari? Look at the videos and look at the pictures. At this point, I begin to ask some of you, are you sure that your brain is working? Your brain cells is working? People say, oh, it is a conspiracy theory. All these things that you're saying about these people, and I'm saying to them, have you not seen the picture of Osinbajo taking the so-called vaccine or malaria injection? I don't know. Look at the man they claim is Buhari. Look at his hand. Is that the hand of an 80-year-old man? Is Buhari richer than Bill Gates? Is Buhari richer than George Soros? George Soros is richer than the whole of Nigeria. Bill Gates, the same thing. So if it is money that caused this very old dying man to now turn into a 35-year-old man, How come Bill Gates cannot do it? Or George Soros? Or even Queen Elizabeth for that matter? If they claim that the treatment that Buhari received that made him look this young was administered in London, the Queen is the Queen of England, the Queen of United Kingdom. Why wouldn't she go through the same treatment? Why not? Why wouldn't Prince Philip go through the same treatment and become young again? That is how Nigerians and black people reason that gives me cause for concern. If we continue this way, we can never ever build nor have any viable society, all of us together. And that is why it is very, very critical and very, very important that we do that which is right before God and man. And stop this from deceiving us. You are every head of state that took a vaccine all over the world. After taking the vaccine, they addressed their people. They spoke to the nation. Why is it that this one wearing an oversized face mask, of course on top of Buhari, hyper-reality face mask, could not utter a word? Can't you ask yourself that question? He came to take his vaccine. Go and look at other heads of state. They take their own vaccine in public and they speak. This one is like a mannequin. He comes out, you wheel him out, and they do something and he goes back in again. That tells you that Buhari is no longer alive. Buhari is in a shallow grave in Saudi Arabia. He's dead. And that is why they're in a hurry. That is why this governor can say, I will not listen to Asorok. That governor will say, let's bring in more bandits, let's settle them. That is why the government is disjointed and dysfunctional. Nobody's in charge. Obasanjo knows that nobody's in charge. I think he said that he may not agree that it's a Buhari double, but that the Buhari now in Asorok is not the one he used to know. How else do you want him to put it? He's been very prominent. He wants Nigeria to survive so that him and his friends can continue to enjoy oil money. That's all. Oil money. That's nothing more, nothing less. Just oil money. Just oil money. So they can continue to enjoy oil money flowing from Biafra land. That's all. Not that they love you. Not that they love one Nigeria. Of course not, they don't. Nobody does. These are the things that you ought to know, and that's what we're telling you this very day. The time now is 7 minutes to the top of the hour, regardless of where you are all over the world. That tells you that we are live and we are direct, and this very gospel is coming to you so that you may change, you may have a change of heart. You may have a change of way of reasoning. Where is your First Lady, Aisha Buhari? Where is she? She is not in the country. For how many months now? For how many months, I ask of you? You claim you're a human being. When a white person is racist towards us, we start complaining. We don't like racism. But when they see the way we reason, they cannot help but be racist towards us. Can you believe that you have a country like the USA and Biden's wife decides to disappear for 2, 3, 4 months? You think Americans will keep quiet? You think that in a time of national crisis, of COVID-19 pandemic and the ceaseless and endemic insecurity, you cannot even hear from somebody you claim is your president? And this was a man that when Youth Corpus visited him sometime in 2016, or was it in 2015, in his house in Katsina, he spoke against me, IPOB and Biafra agitation. Without prompting, you think such a man will keep quiet in the face of what is going on right now? They all know. Wole Soyinka is a liar. They all know that Buhari is dead. Obasanjo is a liar. They know he's dead. Ojo Zokala and all the rest of them, all liars and deceivers. They know the idiot is dead. But all of you will keep deceiving yourselves, and that is why the Fulanis are killing you every blessed day. And when you rise up to fight against them, they become headers. When they attack you, they're headsmen. When you retaliate, they become headers. We don't want them in our land. The death of Buhari and should I say, the relentless drive of the Janjaweed to conquer everybody else will make Nigeria a worse place than Somalia. And it's written. None of you can stop it. It doesn't matter how much you dialogue. It doesn't matter what you do. God have marked out Nigeria for destruction for what they did to his children. And all of you witness it. So that at the end of this very process, when Biafra comes, you give praise to God and to God alone and not to man. That's why we are here. To let you understand that the coming of Biafra is God's design, not that of man. Not mine, not anybody else's. but that the time has come. We must stand very tall, very strong, and very resolute. I'm sure all of you have heard what Dino Malaya said. You have heard about that the president is in transition or transmission. I don't. It is in transition because his body is in Saudi Arabia. He's not buried in Daura, not yet. His body is there, and that's why Aisha is upset with them. Aisha packed her things and went to UAE to live there because she told them, "Bring back the body of my husband, give him a befitting burial." They said no. They want to use the name of Buhari to conquer the rest of Nigeria. That's what they have done. But they have failed. And failed very, very woefully at that. And that is why this very truth must continue to be preached. If you have not seen it, go to my page. I think it is there. What Dino Malaya said. But I want to play what a particular man said. And then I want to showcase the foolishness of your average Nigerian. The foolishness of Bishop Coker. I want to let the world understand how foolish a Nigerian is. Not from me. But I want all of everybody to listen to this very, very carefully, please. And tell me if Nigerians are not stupid. Listen.
We have a confession that the media has not given appropriate attention.
Yes, what is that?
Kawu Baraje
Alhaji Kawu Baraje
was a leading chieftain of the APC.
Yes.
And he has confessed that they imported the foreign mercenaries who have become bandits.
APC imported foreign mercenaries. Baraje said it. Confessed.
What more evidence?
What evidence do you need?
He has confessed that they imported them for the elections.
Yes.
This is public. Why is the media not following up?
Because Nigeria is corrupt.
Why are we not asking for accountability?
They can't ask because Nigerians are not intelligent.
So it seems very clear to me and to so many others. If you're in the public space, you hear people talking.
Yes.
And pointing fingers. The ruling party is the direct sponsor of terrorism and insecurity in Nigeria.
It was an interview granted by a so-called stakeholder in Nigeria. APC, the government, people are joining APC. I don't want to speak against the Holy Spirit. At this point, I begin to say to God, there is no way a black man can be equal to a white man. It's impossible. You are aware. I don't know how to show it. This is the Maison Sahara reporters. I think I'll put it on my page after this. If you go to my page, you will see it. The man spoke very brilliantly. Nobody has come to counter him. Baraje is alive. He opened his mouth and said, a part of APC said, we are the ones that brought them from the Sahel to come and kill you. They are fellow Nigerians. And after this, you say, I'm a Nigerian. That is why I say that anybody, if once you say you're a Nigerian, you're sick in the brain. I never have regard for you as a human being, because that means you cannot reason. I will play this once again, uninterrupted, so you can hear him very, very well. And I'll start by asking him, I'm not going to ask him what he said. Who is responsible for the insecurity in Nigeria? Who is to blame? Listen.
We have a confession that the media has not given appropriate attention.
Yes. Go ahead. What is that?
Kawu Baraje Alhaji
Kawu Baraje
was a leading chieftain of the APC.
Chief of APC. He has confessed. Baraje?
The foreign mercenaries who have become bandits. He has confessed. How much more evidence do you need? He has confessed that they imported them for the elections. This is public. Why is the media not following up? Why are we not asking for accountability? So it seems very clear to me and to so many others. If you're in the public space, you hear people talking and pointing fingers. The ruling party is the direct sponsor of terrorism and insecurity in Nigeria. My name is Martin Onobo. I said it.
Martin Onobo.
APC is the direct sponsor of insecurity and terrorism in Nigeria. Ask me for the evidence. Good. I just gave you confession of Kawu Baraje.
Kawu Baraje, his confession is number one. Evidence. Number two, evidence.
Miyetti Allah made a public statement that if you want peace in your state, don't call any meeting. Provide land for Fulanis in your state.
Ultimatum. From visitors?
Mietiala.
From terrorists?
Mietiala is a collaborator with the ruling party.
Mietiala.
We had a report that the ruling party funded Mietiala to the tune of 100 billion.
You say that?
I wasn't there when the payment was made, but that's in the public domain.
One Nigeria.
An official report that the government of Nigeria was going to establish a radio station.
Radio station for Mietiala, a terrorist group.
In collaboration with Mietiala. We have Fufude, the Fulani tribal dialect, will be the language of communication.
Do you understand it? Now, they were saying this is for Fulani people, sorry, for Hausa people. You know, all these years when they were conquering you, Hausa, they said Hausa, Fulani, we are Hausa, Fulani. But now they feel they have taken you over. Now they feel that they are at the crust of their conquest of Nigeria. They are now floating a radio station, no longer in Hausa language, but in their native Fulani language, Fufude. What does that tell you? As an average Nigerian, I wonder when, maybe there's something in the cow. You know, they have sex with cows and after that they sell it to us and we eat. Maybe that is when they succeed in hypnotizing us. The interviewer was asking for evidence. Let me now give you the evidence. It was us that translated this very evidence. Now it's all over the place. It's gone viral. Now let us hear from the mouth of the Fulani terrorist that the APC brought into Nigeria. Let us hear from them.
Idan ba gwamnati ta daure man wanda yake cikin daji ya ta'addanci ba Allah ubangiji ya tsine ma Allah dauki rayuwa ta a wurin nan.
Listen, it's in Hausa.
Allah ce saniya aka san shi da ita sai noma. Saniya ba ta haifa bindiga AK-47.
AK-47.
Bahilla ce bai da makera da zai kera bindiga AK-47.
AK-47.
Gwamnati ke turowa har muka samu. Mu kuma wallahi dalilin da ya sa billahi lazi shekara na bakwai ina makarantar allo. Amma lokacin da na dawo na tsinci kaina a cikin wannan abun, wallahi ina mamaki kullum ina tunanin rayuwata.
If I'm lying.
Saboda mahaifana akalla a kasar dan banga da su.
What did this man say? I will translate for you. It's on my Twitter. I don't know if it's on my Facebook page. That is why, because of these things, that is why Facebook is busy blocking, banning, suspending people. What did this man say? I'll take off my glasses to read. This man said, I swear to the Almighty Allah, that is the government, the same APC government that our brother was talking about earlier, that gave us arms. I am saying this for people that believe in one Nigeria. That is why I'm... Who are they? Who created this? Who created these people that cannot reason very well? Let me read what this man said. I swear to the Almighty Allah, that is the government, that is APC government, so-called Buhari government, that is giving arms to us. Fulani don't know what gun is. We are only headsmen. Cows don't give birth to guns. I swear to Allah, we are on our own, and the government gave us AK-47. I am not afraid to say the truth. Bishop Coker, are you listening? All of you idiots that believe in one Nigeria, are you listening? Morons, monkeys. All of you who are being deceived by this multicultural, multi-ethnic garbage, can you listen? The government that you are hoping to save you are the ones giving arms to those who have come to kill you. And you get up tomorrow morning and you say, believe in one Nigeria. That was why when Ozo 1 was under attack, that was why when these people, they gave guns to attack Nimbo, Ifani Ugwani called, the Enugu State governor called Buhari many times. Buhari ignored his calls. Ugwani called the commander of the 2 division. No one took his call. He called the commissioner of police for Enugu. No one took his call. But anytime IPOB is having meeting, you come and start shooting people. But when the same people were under attack by those that they are sponsoring, they were nowhere to be found. Is that a type of country? Is that the type of country you wish to belong to? Let's be honest about everything. If this insecurity were being caused by a group of disgruntled Fulani businessmen, you can understand. If this insecurity were being caused by a group of, say, very retarded Fulani politicians, of which there are many of them, I can understand. But insecurity is being caused by the government itself, the APC government. Our brother said it here, and you think he's lying. The people that they get, do you know where they said that? In front of Sheikh Gumi, Abubakar Gumi. He went to the forest to go and meet the bandits, and the bandits told him it was the government that gave us the guns. We don't know what guns are until they gave it to us. That's why I asked you, if they're coming all the way from Mali and from Niger, how did they cross the border with guns? If you claim that those terrorizing us are from Niger Republic. So you don't have customs and immigration in the north anymore? Or because you see yourselves as one people, so there is no border patrol, no border policing, nothing. But you have closed the border now for nearly a year and a half. So the border is closed. And you're from the south and you're shouting one Nigeria. Do you see the depth of your foolishness? Can you see it? When I say it, it's not out of hatred. People say, oh, I don't like his style of agitation, because I tell you the truth. A governor said, the governor of Bauchi State, we are bringing in Fulanis. We are coming to settle Fulani in Nigeria. He said it, he wasn't hiding. We are coming to settle Fulani in your land, in your villages. Do you know why that is possible? Because you believe in one Nigeria. If you are on your own, nobody can try it. It's called an act of war or invasion. But Fulani is carrying out an act of war and invasion into your territory because you are under one Nigeria. So in other words, they are using, Nigeria is providing them a cover to carry out a conquest of an entire, should I say, ethnic nationalities across the zoo. Is it clear to you now? Do you now understand what we are saying? Bishop Coker is afraid. He's from Sokoto, he's a minority. So he thinks that when Nigeria breaks up, Fulani will swallow them alive. But I want to tell them that we are all students of history. There is a group of, or there were a group of people called the Huguenots from France. During the height of Reformation, they were being persecuted by the French authorities who were Catholic. People don't know that Roman Catholic fought with Anglican Church in those days. People don't know this, but that's life. Do you know what happened? Britain, being a Protestant nation, offered amnesty or struck a deal with France to say, give me all your Protestants. We'll absorb them. They're called the Huguenots. And they came into Britain. That is where the lives of Sir Peter de la Billière is a French name. But his family settled in England. He rose to become a general and led the war. In the Desert Storm, it was him that commanded the British forces in the Desert Storm. His ancestors were French, the Huguenots. So what I'm saying to Bishop Coker and all northern Christian minorities today is this. On my honor and on my life, I swear before God Almighty in heaven that with the coming of Biafra, every Christian northerner will be allowed to settle in Biafra land. So you see, Bishop Coker, you have nothing to be afraid of. You have a place where you can practice your faith without looking over your shoulder all the time, thinking who's coming to kill me. You will come to Biafra land and you will live there. A very peaceful, fulfilled life in Biafra land. The same thing that the English did for the French Protestants, they're called the Huguenots. The same thing we are going to do for you. If you feel that you're threatened in the Sharia core north, and because of that, you think that having the East and the West in one Nigeria will save you as some kind of insurance against elimination by the crazy, mad Fulani Janjaweed, you will come to Biafra land. We will give you asylum. You will stay there. Your generations will live and thrive. We are accommodating people. We welcome visitors. then you will see what Biafra is like in real life, not the miserable existence you have in Sokoto. You want to stay in a country where people are threatening your life because you spoke. You said your mind and they're threatening you. What I'm offering you is what happened in England, though. The same England telling you to talk about one Nigeria. There was a time that the lives of French Protestants were under threat in France. England said, give them to us, we'll take them. They were all sent to England. They are called the Huguenots. We offer you the same asylum today to Bishop Coker and to all endangered northern Christians. You can all come to Biafra. We will accommodate you gladly. Gladly. I'm saying this live on air, so if I renege on this, you know, they said the internet never lies. They can go back and dig up this very video and say, you said this on the 8th of March, 2021. So you can come to us. This is the reason why everywhere the Janjaweed are dealing with us. They always come to your village and appoint one person as somebody. You know, one thing about you people is this. You always think that tomorrow is going to be better. But in Nigeria, tomorrow never ever gets better. Instead, it gets worse. And we are offering you a way out. People were asking for confirmation that Nigeria Army and police are colluding with Fulani terrorists. You know, it was on this platform that I called for OPC to take over from Amotekun. And thankfully, they have taken over. And there are results. There are results. I think earlier yesterday, or was it today, the OPC arrested a Fulani warlord. You know, for us, we don't have time for arrest. We arrest you, of course, and then I think they handed him over to police. When we arrest you, we hand you over to God. God will judge you. They arrested a Fulani warlord, Wakili. Handed him over to police. Police took him to hospital. The same police in Biafra land, they will shoot innocent IPOB family members if they go to hospital and abduct them and the doctor and send them to Abuja to be locked up. Do you understand that? That is what they have been doing. I don't know who is calling me. I don't know what for. It's not an interactive session, so don't call me. They came to Olo, they went to Anambra, they shot people, they took them to Abuja, took the doctor as well, treating them to Abuja. In the West, they apprehended a terrorist, they killed a murderer, a rapist, a bandit, handed the bandit over to the police. The police took him to hospital for treatment, specialist hospital. What other evidence do you need that the police and the army are colluding with those that they imported to come and kill you? And you wake up in the morning and you say you're a Nigerian. Are you not ashamed of yourself? Don't you have any shame within you? God Almighty in heaven. I've never seen people as daft and as foolish as this. They took him, he was arrested by OPC. You know what they said? Those that arrested this man, he said, or your police are sure of diligent prosecution of suspected criminals. The criminals now are the OPC men that arrested the bandit. Nigeria is astonishing. You arrested a rapist, a mass murderer, a killer, and a land grabber. Took him to the police. The police now arrested you. Took the man to hospital. Beat you, all of you up, and put you in the cell. They say police is your friend. Anyway, I thank God that there are some these guardian angels that came. I don't know where they came from. They are called unknown gunmen. I don't know where they came from. Maybe they are the spirit of all those killed by the police and the army. And they are avenging the death of the people that the police and the army killed. They are called unknown gunmen. I don't know who they are. I don't know where they come from. But they are fighting for the poor. They are like Robin Hood, but in this case, they are not robbing the poor, the rich to pay the poor, no. They are robbing the criminals, the murderers of their own lives. Murderers in the police and the army. People don't know what is coming, do they? They have no idea. I feel sorry for the zoo. They have no idea. Any day that all of you gang up to support your one Nigeria garbage, the more you're digging your collective graves. Nigeria can never ever be fixed. It's broken beyond repair. Can never be fixed. Look at Sultan of Sokoto talking rubbish. The spiritual leader, whatever rubbish he is of the zoo. Sultan of Sokoto, that he was in the army. That war is not good. But you Fulanis are the ones living war on everybody. You took over the whole of Plateau. You came down into Benue. Your people were at also one, massacring people. Then you never talked about war. As soon as we rose up and said enough is enough, now this war language starts to come into your lips. Do you think we are foolish? Do you think we are... Go and bring all the BBCs of this world, every propagandist for neo-colonialists. Gang them, bring them together against Biafra agitation. You're wasting your time. Bring them against ESN, you're wasting your time. Arrest all you like. But I'm just warning them, if you're a policeman involved in the arrest of innocent people, all I need to do is to go down on my knees and pray and ask God, please, may unknown gunmen locate you and they will find you. Because God answers my prayers. So all those police stations involved in all this raid know that your turn is coming. It's only a matter of time, it will come. Since you want anarchy, you will get anarchy. Since that is what you want. You people, you don't like people that play it gently by the rules. No, not in the zoo. That is how you have been taking over our land, raping our women, abducting us and killing us. We came out at Tombo, you killed us for no reason. Shia people came out at Abuja, you shot them for no discernible reason. And all of you saw soldiers with live bullets killing people in broad daylight. No major news outlet carried it in the world. They've bribed all of them. I'm saying it on camera. And I wish that the US Congress can call me to testify. The American ambassador, that woman took bribe from Nigeria. Nigeria bribes every ambassador that comes to Nigeria. They give you loads of money, so you will never report what is happening in Nigeria. You don't know that? I'm saying it live on camera. I wish they can call me in America, come and testify. I will do so. The British High Commissioner is as corrupt as the devil. That woman. She was the one that was responsible for the murder at Lekki. When she went to see Tinubu, I warned everybody, look at this woman, the army will open fire. Not up to 6 hours to open fire, that woman. That's on the line. All of you are just looking, because anyway, most of you are blind, you cannot see. And more. We see things that the mere mortals cannot see. That is why Elohim is with us. That is why everything I say comes to pass. It must happen, it must come to pass. I told them that when we were giving thanks and praises to Elohim, I told them that this horn this trumpet that we are blowing, anybody who hears it in Asorok will go deaf. How many days? And there was fire in Asorok for the very first time. The zoo will be destroyed. Not that we may just get Biafra, so that when this story is written, our children will know that God did it, not man. Man put their faith in their chariots. Britain, you have you're a member of the UN Security Council, you're very strong, you're powerful. All these criminal US ambassadors coming to Nigeria, yeah, you have money, you are US, you will always support Fulani. You people are openly supporting terrorists because of money, because they bribe you, because Halliburton has oil concessions, because there is a Shell and everything. Everybody's milking Biafra. Because of that, it is better we support terrorists. They'll kill the innocent. And you're diplomats. You're diplomats presiding over the slaughter of the innocent. You cannot speak the truth. We are in the middle of a war. The Fulanis have levied war on every indigenous population, ethnic group in Nigeria. All of you can say it. All you can say is invite the Sarakin or Sarakin Fulani Lagos. Not the Oba of Lagos, no. Sarakin Fulani Lagos means the supreme Fulani ruler in Lagos. Because the US ambassador has taken money from Nigeria. Very soon her tour of duty will come to an end and she will go. She will become a multimillionaire. That is why they all want to come to Nigeria. Because Fulani will pay very well to suppress the news, to stop the truth from going out. And all of you will suffer if you don't repent. You will suffer. Mark my words somewhere, you will suffer if you don't repent from your evil ways. You take money from murderers and from killers to suppress the truth. Biden doesn't know what is happening in Nigeria because they rely on the ambassador to feed them accurate information. And that is not happening because they've been bribed. And that is why people are dying in Nigeria. Nigeria is the only place in turmoil, not making it onto the front pages of newspapers all over the world. Nobody talks about it because they are all compromised. They've been bribed. We don't need your one Nigeria to survive. They tried, can you imagine the nonsense? They brought in their food blockade. They said we will not send food to the south. They are perishable goods. So the items got spoiled in the north. The government now turned around to pay them almost 500 billion. They are the ones that said they will not sell their goods to the south. Their goods are now rotten in the north. And the government paid them compensation of nearly 500 billion. And you're in one Nigeria. Tomorrow morning, you idiotically wake up in the morning and say, I'm a Nigerian. As I said before, before I used to blame white people for racism, I no longer blame them for it. Because we are the cause of racism. Our stupidity as black people is responsible for the way we're being treated all over the world. Very sad indeed. Very, very sad indeed. We don't need them to survive. We don't need them. And we can give them the oil and gas for free. As I've said before, allow me to repeat. The oil, apart from granting citizenship to every northern Christian, I mean Core North, I mean the Sharia, Arewa, Janjaweed North, you will all live in Biafra land, where you can practice your religion without fear or favor. Another thing we are going to do is to pipe free oil and gas across the whole of West Africa. In Biafra, Oduduwa will receive oil and gas for free. You see, Benin Republic, oil and gas for free. Togo will receive oil and gas for free. Ghana the same. All the way to, heaven knows where, I think, Western Sahara. Do you know why? Because we want the economies of all these countries to grow as well, because they're going to buy our goods and services. They will buy our goods and services. That is why we need the economies to grow as well. A Biafra will offer free oil and gas to the entire West African coastal region. To tell you we don't need oil and gas to survive as a people. We are not fighting for Biafra because of oil and gas. We are fighting because it is the will of God and we must be free. We are free people. We were free before the white man came, and we shall be free once again. And as I've been telling people, and they do not, or some will not understand or hope to understand, what we are doing is of the spirit. The likes of Shoyinka must stand up to speak the truth. Obasanjo, you must speak the truth. Tell us where Buhari is. You know where his grave is at? You can point that out for us. Tell us. Free yourself of that very burden. Shoyinka, the same thing. Shoyinka, you were campaigning for them. Campaigning for Buhari. Until your carrot and cabbage clashed with Fulani cattle. You now realized that there is danger in the land. All these years, all the Fulani insurgency and incursion into the south, he never said a word. People look up to you to speak the truth. You never said a word until they came to your farm and ate your carrot and your cabbage. You started complaining. Typical black people. Until something affects you, it's nothing. That mindset must change. And that is where Biafra must come. And when Biafra does come, everybody will be free. If Biafra is not free, none of you is going to be free. And that is why I have said it before and allow me to repeat. We have come to set all of you free. And if you allow this nonsense to continue, you'll be sunk. If you have not gotten your Somali visa, go and get it now. Because the zoo is gone. and the hell has arrived. Thank you very much for listening. From me, from here, good evening.
The zoo is falling and your help is here. And what you have to do is to support Biafra, support BDF. If you don't support Biafra and support BDF, it's either you are welcoming the Islamic jihadist terrorists that have been involved everywhere. I played that video for you to connect the dots and to be reminded of everything that our Supreme Leader, Anambra-Igbo, had said and explained before now. This was in March 2021. And when you heard him speak, he spoke as if he is here today, because everything he said happening here now, and everything he said are happening as if it was happening when he was saying it. So if you look at the screen, you can see coffins. In every of these coffins are generations, are futures, our fathers and mothers, our babies, our women and children, our pregnant mothers. In every of these coffins are Christians massacred. In every of these coffins are some of the houses massacred. Those that are not the radical terrorists are massacred, but you can never see the imams and the sheikh rumis massacred, beheaded, and cut to pieces by their terrorist groups. I salute all BIAFRANS and I salute our Supreme Leader that just took the floor. He's been speaking for over 1 hour, 27 minutes. We salute his resistance for living before us and our leaders of old from 1929, 1945, 1954, 1966, 1967 to 70s, and those that have lived from that time to Wazirike time, still fighting for Biafra. Our ESN that came to open the door and to protect all Biafrans from 2020 and coming down to our BDF, which became the father of ESN. ESN metamorphosed into the Biafra army. These dead bodies on the screen And the coffins of babies, women, and children will not be happening in Biafra land, and you will hear our strong legacy. Because they have mapped out Nigeria indigenous people for massive destruction. But the Biafran people refuse to be unprovoked. They have been provoked already, and they have been severally, and they continue to fight against those that are coming with the intent of annihilating their babies, women, and children. Those that have come to send us out of our lands so that we will be running to Cameroon, Chad, Benue, Niger State. No. Sierra Leone and Burkina Faso and Mali. It is not going to happen. It will not happen under our own watch. We may have failed in the past, but at this very time, Biafra land must be defended, and Biafran people have come to a crossroads where there is no point of no return. Did someone say my sound is not coming out? Did someone say my sound is not coming out? Please, I want you guys to check if my voice is coming out, because someone said my sound is not coming out. If you can't hear my voice, please write in the comment section, because someone is saying my sound is not coming out. Let me know if my voice is coming out, please. If my voice is coming out, please let me know if my voice is coming out. Emmanuel said my voice is not clear. I want to know if my voice is coming out for those watching. Please comment and let us know if my voice is coming out. Emmanuel said my voice is not clear. I want to know if my voice. Okay, I can hear my voice from the phone. So Emmanuel is saying my voice is not coming out. I don't know where you're getting that from. Let me refresh. Let me refresh. All right, the person that said my voice is not coming out. Can you check now to see if my voice is coming out properly? Please, I can hear my voice from the phone. I can hear my voice from the phone. I can hear my voice from the phone. I can hear the voice from the phone. Okay, you said it's not coming up. Could it be better now? Please, you guys should check if it's better now. Check if it's better now. Check if it's better now, please. Could it be better now? Please, you guys should check if it's better now. Okay. Check if it's better now. Okay. Check if it's better now, please. Better now. All right. Thank you so much. Okay. I think it's from the Bluetooth speaker that was connected before. All right. Thank you. Thank you for all of you for being there in the comment section and alerting me, because I wouldn't have known if the sound was not coming out properly. But I hope Onyendo's voice was coming out properly for the past 1 hour, 30 minutes. Thank you so much. We pray for our leaders' health and our Prime Minister's health as well, and all our leaders, also those in the defense forces that are fighting every day to make sure Biafra land is not taken by the Janjaweed terrorists that have come in their... we salute our Biafra Defense Forces for all they've been doing, because their goodness, their works and strength are paying off. And it is because of what they've been doing that we are not carrying coffins of our babies, women and children like this. We salute our APM, and we salute the entire BRGIE cabinet. We salute the reps and admins that are representing Biafran people all over the globe, both in the homeland and in diaspora. Continue your good works, because our leaders are very grateful of what you're doing. Our leader's strength is emanating from what we do. And what keeps him going is how far and how determined we are. So all Biafrans are implored to re-energize and re-evaluate your strength. If you know that your strength has dwindled in one way or another, re-energize, re-evaluate your input, and make sure you reaffirm your stand and commitment to the Biafran freedom. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, as Supreme Leader, is standing very strong. He's not shifting the goalposts. He's not changing his mind because he has been in detention for the past 4 years. But there are many of us that would be in detention for just a few months, and you will start making decisions that Biafrans will ask if you are in your right senses. There are many of you that would have been in detention just in 8 or 9 months, or 10 months, or 6 months. You will start turning the goalpost. But Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has been in detention for over 4 years now, and all he is doing is to extract his strength from how far you are building the momentum. The momentum you build in the homeland and the defense, the momentum you build in the US, in the political and diplomatic work to the recognition of Biafra, how you are engaging the lawmakers in America, how you are tabling the Biafran cause day and night out there. Onyendo is building his strength and his shield from your handiworks. That is why we encourage you to do more. We encourage you to borrow more armors of war. Borrow more shield to double your shield, so that you can be able to stand firm and stronger than you have ever been, so that nothing will fall you off the rail. When last did you bury your babies, women, and children like this? And when last did you decam your communities and run to Cameroon to go and seek refuge? The same Cameroon that are massacring your Amazonian brothers, who are also fighting for self-determination and independence existence. Where will you run to if there is no Biafra Defense Forces? Where will you run to? If you don't have volunteer armies in the homeland, standing their grounds on daily basis to defend the homeland and to shift this war from Biafra land down to the far north and to the middle belt, where would you have been? Where would you run to? You know, your own case would have been worst. When I mean worst, let me speak like those that used to speak grammar in comedy. Worst, worster, worstest. So your own as a Biafran would have been worster and worstest as far as Nigeria is concerned. As far as these jihadist terrorists are concerned, because their sole aim is to erase everything that speaks Christendom and then replace it with their own ethics. Tomorrow is our public fundraising, but we don't stream live. We are inside the Zoom. The only thing you will see on the screen is a flyer that is informing you that fundraising is ongoing, that you need to log in. So this is what you will see on the screen. You will not see us streaming out. You will not see our faces. You will only see this flyer on the screen. So when you see, you have to click the link that will be available and then log into the Zoom. If you have a Zoom in your phone, you can just go to the Zoom and click join a meeting. It will ask you for the meeting ID. This is the meeting ID here. It will ask you for the passcode. You put this passcode. You click join and then you can join the meeting. That is how you can join fundraising when we are live. You will not see live streaming of fundraising anymore, but you will see town hall meeting on Sundays live on air. Okay? So we are imploring everyone that if you love what is happening here on the screen, where the Boko Haram terrorists are massacring babies, women, and children, and all they could do is just to pack the dead bodies, open the ground, and then bury, finish, and then they go back to go and start crying all over again. If you love what you see, do not come to participate in the fundraising to support Biafra. If you don't love what you see, then come and participate in the fundraising so that what you see happening here will not replicate in your own homeland. Thank you very much, and remember to be part and parcel of the fundraising tomorrow. Time is 7 p.m. You need not show your identity to support Biafra. You can support Biafra financially by hiding your identity. All we need is your financial support. You can do it Nicodemously. Contact us, and then we will give you all that is needed to make it happen. And that reminds me, let me put my WhatsApp number here. Let me put WhatsApp number here so that those that need to contact can be able to reach out with these numbers. Incoming. With this WhatsApp number here, displayed, we can attend to your requests and your issues with this WhatsApp number here. All right, thank you so much. I wouldn't be spending much time here because tomorrow is fundraising, so I just want to speak on something. when you look at the topic of this program, it says MNK Witnesses. MNK Witnesses. So I'm going to speak briefly about the witnesses that MNK demanded of. So I want everyone to be attentive in what we are going to do here tonight. MNK's witnesses. Who are the witnesses that they oblige, and what you should know about the witnesses that they oblige to. So here we go. So if you're going to edit this program or cut it off from here, Oyendo has just finished speaking, and then I'm picking up something from here. So you'll be picking it from 1 hour, 58 minutes of the program. Now, one thing significantly that you need to understand is that when Oyendo is given the opportunity to speak in the Nigerian court, sorry, when Oyendo is given the opportunity to speak in the Nigerian court and to speak for over 30 minutes or 20 minutes, it's like you are giving Biafra the opportunity to be speaking. When Oyendo is granted the permission to carry a particular leaflet or pamphlet or book or script and be looking at it and be speaking for the next 30 minutes, it's like Biafra is creating awareness inside the Nigerian court system. And one thing that they don't want you to hear and know is that they cannot televise the live court hearing as it is happening there. They will shut down all the cameras. So you wouldn't be able to know and hear except of what Oyendo is saying from his mouth from inside that place. So if granted the permission to speak inside that place for the next 30 minutes, it's like the court of the oppressors has been granted permission of Biafra to speak and to explain many things that has not been allowed to say or done. You know, when the lawyers or the legal team that are under one Nigeria, because all the lawyers in Nigeria representing or defending Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in court, they are under one Nigeria supervision. That is why one Nigeria can twist them the way they want to twist them, direct them to any point, tell them how they want it and how they should file their case and what they should say and what they should not say, because they are restricted. Because they have to go within the purpose of the law of Nigeria, according to their Nigerian Bar Association ethics. They will not speak out of context. They will speak in line and stay within that jurisdiction of what they have been told and their ethics, so that their license will not be taken from them, so that the salary would not stop coming. But Oyendo is not bound by all those laws. First of all, the people that kidnap him are the same people that are trying him in court. And if he happens to be the one carrying the mic to speak for the next 30 minutes, facing the court or replying to what they are saying, he will be speaking with brutality. That is one thing you need to understand. He will be speaking with brutality. And he will lay it bare unwashed. He will lay it bare unaltered. These are some things I just need to post or to point out to all of you. But for Oyendo to be the one to defend himself in the zoological court of one Nigeria, it is not ideal. It is not ideal for Onyendu to be and stand before the zoological court and then be the one to be defending himself, opening his case file, opening whatever he need to use to defend himself. It is not ideal. Because who kidnapped him is Nigerian terrorist government. Who brought him to court is Nigerian terrorist government. Why will he now be the one to still stand to defend himself inside the same court of Nigeria that kidnapped him? It is not ideal. Those are the things I need you to understand. I know that some of you are emotional and happy to hear, oh, Onyendu will be the one to defend himself. He will stand to defend himself. It is not ideal. And I hope he will have some legal advisors that will be advising him on everything he's got to do. But it is his constitutional right to decide to take a lawyer to represent him and also not to allow somebody to represent him. But it is not ideal in the kind of situation of one Nigeria that we find ourselves. Yes, because the people that kidnap him is the same people that wants him to stand trial, and then they want him now to still be the one to defend himself and himself alone. No. The question now you should ask is, why did they detain Ejimako? Why did they arrest Ejimako? This is the time you need to understand what is actually happening. Ejimako's arrest was done intentionally. Ejimako's arrest was done intentionally. It is unlawful, and there is no law from the fraudulent constitution of one Nigeria that affirms legally that a lawyer, a lead counsel to someone that is in court, there is no law that tells you that it does not have the right to partake in a peaceful protest, in a gathering of people that go out to ask for justice. There is no law that prohibits him to do so. But in Nigeria, we live in a kangaroo system where what is preached and interpreted to a Fulani man will not be interpreted the same way to a Biafran man. From the broadcast Mazinam Kanu just made, he told you about some people in Yoruba land that captured terrorists that had raped their mothers, women and children, and cut babies to death. When they captured the terrorists, they say, oh, let us be law-abiding citizens. They took the terrorists to Nigerian police. Nigerian police took hold or got hold of the terrorists from their hands and took the terrorists to hospital for preferential treatment. Then they arrested all of them that captured terrorists to bring to them and locked them all up. Why? Because they have gone to touch the important citizens of Nigeria who are working for the federal government of Nigeria. Caroline Momo said, I should stop saying one Nigeria, that it is 12 Nigeria. Caroline Momo, can you expatiate how long this your 12 Nigeria is all about now? I beg, we need to also understand. Because they use the word one Nigeria to massacre us. Chukwu Jeku Eruchalo said, it's been long you talk about our PM. Hope he is fine. Our PM is fine. I don't need to talk about our PM every day or preach about our PM every day. What will bring our PM out and what will bring Mazi Nnamdi Kanu out is what we are doing in Washington, D.C. and what Biafrans are doing in the homeland. Thank you, Chukwujeku, for even bringing this thing up. So let me address something. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's freedom and our Prime Minister's freedom is not coming from Finland. I want everybody to understand something here. Finland connive with Nigerian terrorist government and the European Commission to imprison our Prime Minister. In our last conversation with our Prime Minister, he sent a message and encouraged us that we should continue to do what we are doing in Washington, D.C. in order to intensify his release, because he himself knows that his freedom is not in Finland, not in Europe, because Europe and Finland have compromised and disappointed him. So he encouraged us to continue the legal battle, the political and diplomatic battle that we are doing in Washington, D.C. So if you are not supporting the APM in what he is doing in Washington, D.C., contributing your quota, that means you don't want our PM to come out. Nigeria that you see today, that is a topic in the media with the genocide that is ongoing on Christians, and then Mazi Nnamdi Kanu case being on top of the radar now. It is what BRGIE did in Washington, D.C. that brought this to the limelight. Some of you may not understand this. And that will bring me to visit our website so that you will understand something. The petition or the explosive testimony which BRGIE submitted to the US Congress. In that testimony, we highlighted the massacre of Christians, the massacre of Biafrans, the kidnapping of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the imprisonment of Mazi Simon Ekpa, Prime Minister, the leader of BRGIE. Are you listening? So we brought to the attention of the US. After then, a congressional US briefing on Biafra was held to push the testimony that has already been submitted to limelight for those that may not understand the implications. Here it is. You can see this on the screen, that BRGIE on 29th of July, the acting Prime Minister provided explosive testimony to the US Congress, calling for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and Simon Ekpa. And in this testimony, you will see more explanations and write-up about sanctions that we demand from US on Nigeria, sanctions that we demand from US on Finland, sanctions that we demand from US on Nigeria, tariffs that we demand they place on Nigeria, stopping many things going to Nigeria because they are not using it to the good of the indigenous people. They are using it to support the Boko Haram terrorists and the jihad that is ongoing. So what we have done in America, in the US Congress Capitol, for the past 3 or 4 months is the result that you are seeing today on the media. July, August, September, October. You all saw when the APM, our lobbies, and some Biafrans congregated at the Finland Embassy in US to protest against the release of our Prime Minister. Do you to protest to the release of our prime minister? Did you see what happened in Finland embassy? Finland embassy decided to shut down their embassy when we assembled for the protest because they could not stand it. They knew we were live on air and the awareness were going on. They had to shut down their embassy and then run out. They said, oh, their embassy is out of service now. They shut down immediately. They saw that we started the protest because they don't want the coverage to go live on air. We tried to interview some of the security personnel that were live on duty. The security personnel said they cannot speak. Oh, they are not the right people to speak. The real people that are supposed to speak, they have shut down the office because on seeing us arriving at the protest ground. So what we are doing is what will bring our prime minister out, is what will bring our supreme leader out. And it is what is sparking the discussion everywhere now. It is from what we did in the US that gave Showore the boldness to organize the protests. And we started with a campaign of hold all the Igbo politicians accountable because they are the ones that jail Mazen Namdekano so that jihad can prevail. When Showore came and started his campaign, was he not towing the same line? Showore was towing the same line, the same language. When he started speaking, the first statement of Showore was that there are some Igbo politicians that do not want Mazen Namdekano released, that it is not Asoro, it is not Abuja. And it rhymed with everything that we said and started with the campaign. So are you getting the point now? So Showore's awareness was emboldened from the US congressional briefing on Biafra, which Biafrans carried out. So you had to do something so that other people will see how far you have gone. So Biafran people lobbied. They lobbied the US government and went as far as engaging the congressmen and women and putting our problems there on the table. This is the very first time in history that the Biafran people have so been to the Congress, that they enter inside, they sit down, they discuss, they submit a testimony against Nigeria, and they've even gone to the point of having a U.S. congressional briefing inside the U.S. Congress Capitol, inside the capital of America, the seat of power. You see, when Showore was staging his protest with all the Nigerians that supported the protest, he said that the protest is going to be at Asura. They said it cannot happen. They stopped them. They used court order to stop them from being at the Asura. But where did the Biafran people carry out this congressional briefing? This congressional briefing was carried out in the capital of America, the seat of power of the US government, the White House, where you used to see Donald Trump speaking, in Washington, D.C. capital. That is where this congressional briefing on Biafra was carried out. So our PM himself has told us recently in our last conversations that we should intensify whatever we are doing in the US. That is what will bring him out. He has realized that Finland, Europe are a very big shame to the Biafran people. They have disappointed him very, very much. And the hope of Biafrans cannot be on Europe any longer. That time is gone. We have had the opportunity to engage the US lawmakers and submit a testimony to the US Congress. We've had opportunity to propose and to tender our proposed deal to the US government. We've also had the opportunity to now hold a congressional briefing inside the US Capitol. When we held the Finland Convention 2023 and 2024, even the Finland government did not have the opportunity to recognize the convention and the significance of what we did. But people in US, think tank groups in US, lawmakers in US recognize what we did. Now, how much more if the two conventions that were held in Helsinki and in Lahti were held in America? Do you know what would have been the significance and the stand of the Biafran people today with the cognizance of America in what we do? Having known and understand that we did the Helsinki Declaration to have been in America, and then the Lahti Declaration to have been in America. Do you know the power and the popularity and the stand of what the Biafran people, BRGIE, would have been now if those two conventions were held in America? Now, we have just had testimony submitted to the US lawmakers. And then we've just had only one congressional briefing. Only one congressional briefing have we just had. Then the next thing you see, boom, on the internet. The lawmakers of America picked up the center stage. The famous media houses in America picks up the center stage of the story. Do you now see what we have lost for the past 2 years that we've done the two conventions in Finland, in Europe? If we had done it in America, the advantages would have been very high. We would have garnered and gained more. So, Europe is not the place. America is the place. If we have done only one congressional briefing in America, and it has opened the nyash of Nigeria. Nigerian presidency was crying the other day that the genocide narrative, they have come to understand that it is the Biafran people, the Biafra Republic government in exile, which happens to be the only legitimate government of the Biafran people, that they are the ones behind the narrative in America to the lawmakers. They acknowledge and they come out clear on it. And then they decided to name us rebels and terrorists because we have taken the issue of the genocide and the massacre of every Christian in Nigeria to America for everybody to know. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu told you in the video I played that Nigeria is on a societal slide and that your hope has now come in the existence of Biafra. Do you now understand the point? That is why our going to Washington, D.C. became hope to every Christian and Muslim that have been massacred in Nigeria. When I mean Muslims, I'm talking about those Hausa people who don't even know how they got themselves into that place. And then they are being massacred and butchered on a daily basis because they don't know their left from the right. They don't really understand the ethics of what they find themselves into. But the majority that have been massacred are Christians. And some of the Muslims that try to convert to Christians, they massacre them too because as they try to convert, their Sharia law says that they must be massacred. So they massacre them because they try to go out of the terrorist house that they call religion. They want to go to the Christian side. So they stand to be massacred. Your hope has come as Christians in one Nigeria. Through where? Through the emergence and the consistency and the existence of the Biafra Republic government in exile. Because they
are the ones making your voices heard in US Congress. So this testimony that BRGIE submitted is in favor of our Prime Minister. This testimony that BRGIE Acting Prime Minister submitted is in favor of our Supreme Leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. This testimony that we submitted is in favor of the Christian genocide that is happening in Nigeria. This testimony that we submitted is in favor of Biafran people. This testimony that we submitted is in favor of everyone that is being massacred in one Nigeria on a daily basis for no just cause. So the question now is, why did they kidnap or arrest attorney or lawyer Ejimako? Why was he arrested? That's the question you need to ask. They arrested him so that they will leave a vacuum, so that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu will be in a condition of begging of what to choose and what not, so that he will now be thinking, what should I do or what should I not do? He will now be thinking of what he should go for and what he should not go for. Are you guys understanding the game? Aha. So these are the reasons why he was kidnapped, so that they will take a kidnapper Ejimako out of the way, so that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu will be in one chance, so that he will now start thinking, because Ejimako is the one that was like the one that will guide him and always tell him everything the way it should be. So when they took him out, they said, let us see how far he will be able to go. But what do you need to know about MNK's witnesses? MNK called for witnesses. I have established a fact that for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to stand to defend himself and himself alone, it is not ideal. Yes, it is a one-chance caricature pattern that they have set in for him. It is a one-chance kangaroo court system that they set in for him. That is why they kidnapped Ejimako. Yes, so that he will now be in one chance of making a choice of solving on how to defend himself and the strategies to use. That's one thing. But there is something more interesting here now that now came up from the next line of action of Onyendu. Onyendu said he is naming these people here to be his witness. And when you look at the screen, he named T.Y. Danjuma. He named Lagbaja. He named Alhaji Malami. He named Wike. He named Umahi. He named Sanwo-Olu. He named Uzodimma. He named Okezi Ikpeazu. He named Yusuf Makaji Bichi. He named Ahmed Abubakar. Why did you think Onyendu named these people? Is the question that you need to ask yourself. Why do you think Onyendu named these people and said these are the people he wants to stand as his witnesses while he will stand in court to proceed in anything he wants to do? Why did Onyendu name these people that he wants them to come in and stand? He will call them and then be asking them questions. How many of you watched the video where some people were being grilled about the coup of 1966? There was a grilling video where people were grilled and they were asking them, did you partake in the massacre of Abacha? And questions were thrown. There was one other man that was interviewed and then they asked him, how did you see or the plan of the coup? Was it necessary or not? He said the coup was necessary because there was a plan of Islamic Jihad that was coming to kill everybody. And the declaration of Biafra was also important because Ojukwu could not stand to wait and see his people pillage overnight after severed heads of babies, women, and children were served as a gift all the way from the north inside a train down to Biafra land. So I just want us to try to imagine why Onyendu named all these people to be the people he need to stand as witnesses for him to be asking them questions. So Onyendu wants to grill these people, all of them inside court. Now, let me explain something. T.Y. Danjuma is former defense minister of Nigeria. Lagbaja is chief of army staff, whether he has been taken out now or not, because Tinubu have removed Musa as chief of defense staff and changed many people. I think he has also changed Lagbaja, if I'm not mistaken. Alhaji Abubakar Malami, this is the former Attorney General of Nigeria, who led the kidnapping of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Wike, okay. Now, let me talk about former Defense Minister, T.Y. Danjuma. T.Y. Danjuma has testified in many panels, and he has explained to you with evidences of how the Nigerian terrorist government, their military personnel are colluding and working with the terrorists and shielding them on a daily basis. If a chief of defense is telling you of what the Nigerian military formations have been doing, what evidence do you need to explain something? So, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu may need him to come and testify again before the very court of one Nigeria, what he had testified to the British Commission on how Nigerian terrorists are colluding and working with the terrorists to supervise the massacre of people. And for him to also give his own face and information of what has been happening. Now, this one that you call Lagbaja, Lagbaja here is the chief of army. He is, I think there is another name here, Buratai. Buratai is not here. Was Lagbaja there? I think it's Buratai that was there, not Lagbaja. The person that formed this thing should go and check the photos very well. Buratai is the person that led the massacre and invasion of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's house. So when Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is selectively handpicking these people, he knows what he's doing. When you hear of Operation Python Dance, it is under Buratai that they brought this Operation Python Dance to massacre Biafrans and to kill and to maim. So he invariably needs them to come in and explain and testify how they plan to kill him in his house and why they came to kill him in his house. The crimes he committed that necessitated him to be killed in his house in 2017. And why they killed the over 28 persons that were killed on that invasion, which they could not take Mazi Nnamdi Kanu out. That is why he need Buratai. Malami. Why does he need Malami? He needs Malami to come and explain how his kidnapping was well orchestrated. The people that sponsored his kidnapping, the people that arranged and worked with him for the kidnapping. This is now why Mazi Nnamdi Kanu needs all these people. He wants to see them stand and testify and tell the Nigerian court, we are the people that join our hands to do the kidnapping. This is how we plan it. He wants Malami to come and name all the Igbo governors, all the IPOB members, and the lawyers that all put hand together to plan. He wants Malami to come and explain how they got intel that he was going to be in Kenya and where he was going to have meeting and where he was going to enter in and out. He wants Malami to come and explain. The Igbo politicians, the ministers and the senators, the governors that all joined their hands together to his kidnap. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu wants Malami to come and explain the part of Nigerian law that validated their kidnapping of him and their extraordinary rendition of him from Kenya to Nigeria, and why they had to beat him and kill him from on the 18th of June 2021 to 28th of June 2021 that later brought him to Nigeria. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu wants these very men and women to come and explain to the Nigerian people and to the international community. So you now understand why Mazi Nnamdi Kanu needs Attorney Malami. Is the one that spearheaded the kidnapping. When they finished the kidnapping, he addressed the Nigerian press and he addressed them in Fude, in the language of the Fulanis, where he explained to them that they have kidnapped Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the Biafran leader, that they have achieved their aim of kidnapping him, that he is the only person that has been stopping them from going ahead to totally implement jihad in Nigeria. So Onyendu wants Malami to come and stand before the court and answer these questions and explain to Nigeria how lawful his kidnapping in Kenya is and is still okay to the Nigerian populace today. Because we see many Efulefus defending the kidnap of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu by Nigerian government. They are standing together, clapping and rejoicing and supporting Nigeria. This is why Mazi Nnamdi Kanu needs Malami. Malami, who authorized you and who gave you the directive to the kidnapping and the extraordinary renditions, and also the operations, how it was carried out, the custody conditions, and how it is in compliance with legal procedures. These are the things he needs to come and explain to the court and to the Nigerian populace and international community, that we will clap for them and say, yes, Malami, you have done very well. And I talked about Buratai on. Buratai is to come and explain how Operation Python Dance and military invasion of his house was very okay, and how the massacre of all Biafrans in Biafra land with the use of Operation Python Dance, Udoka, Udokachi, Agune Chemba, and all these new groups, how it was very okay that they brought about it. Now, Dave Umahi here, Dave Umahi will have to explain to us how they made plans about the formation of Ebubagu terrorists, which they aligned all of them together, mix them up with the Boko Haram terrorists and give them uniforms. And then their sole aim of recruiting these Ebubagu was to use them to fight Biafra, to stop Biafra and to kill Biafra babies, women, and children. Dave Umahi will also explain to us how the proscription of the indigenous people of Biafra had to come to be, because he played a vital role. He was the one that was reading the script and making the pronouncement that day. I have played this video here before and made references to it. So Dave Umahi to appear there will do us a very good favor, coming to explain to us how we had to be proscribed as indigenous people of Biafra, which legal backup did they use, and what are the consequences, and how did it happen, and those that influenced them to make this happen, and those that brought about all these things that has happened. Then, what is it called? Igbazu. Igbazu here, Okezi Igbazu, was the governor, the sitting governor, when Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's house was invaded to be killed in 2017. He gave the order. He brought the army, the police, the Air Force to kill him. There was arrangement altogether. If that arrangement was not there, and if he did not call them to come, they will not come. So everything emanated from his table. So Okezi Igbazu will have to come and explain to us on this very one. Now, that was to the invasion of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's house. So it's not only the military personnel that played the role, but the governor that also played the role.
Every one of us must rise up. The armed forces are not neutral. They collude. They collude. They collude with the armed bandits. They kill people, kill Nigerians. They facilitate their movements. They cover them. If you are depending on the armed forces to stop the killings, you will all die one by one. Every one of us must rise up. The armed forces are not neutral. They collude. They collude. They collude with the armed bandits. They kill people, kill Nigerians. They facilitate their movements. They cover them. If you are depending on the armed forces to stop the killings, you will all die one by one.
Thank you, and welcome back. We have to go on a short break. So, you've all seen reasons why Onyendu handpicked all these people here. Onyendu, God is the one giving him the wisdom, because all these people have to pay for what they have done. So, Okezi Igbazu, the Buratai that headed the massacre of over 28 people in Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's house in 2017, did not do it alone. Okezi Igbazu, the sitting governor of Abia State, is an accomplished. Yes. He knows how far. He knows what they plan. He knows. Then, when you come to Sanwo-Olu, Sanwo-Olu should come and explain to us how Nigerian youth that were protesting, who ordered the massacre of the Nigerian youth. Yes. Who instructed the army to open the fire. None of those Nigerian youth have gotten justice. You see, Onyendu is not only speaking, that is why we tell you Biafra is your hope. We are not just speaking for ourselves. But this is the misconception some of you have had before. You thought that we are endemic to you, indigenous people in Nigeria. No, our problem is not you as indigenous person in Nigeria, because we were all once indigenous persons under that contraption, as they force us under that contraption, they force us to be. But we have said we don't want to answer a name that is not our own again. So for those that are still answering the names, we don't have anything against you. What we have is against the terrorist government. Those that are planning your annihilation, those that are planning to destroy all of you, those are the people that we have problems with. But for you that is calling yourself a Nigerian, it is your choice. I don't have any problem with you. It is your choice of nomenclature and identity that you want to carry. Carry it proudly and go to where you like. So that when Nigeria happens to you, you can also be happy to defend yourself and to be very proud that, yes, you are a Nigerian and then Nigeria happens to you. You'll be very happy. So enjoy yourself that way and do not allow it to come out to affect us in this other end.
Every one of us must rise up. The armed forces are not neutral. They collude. They collude. They collude with the armed bandits. They kill people, kill Nigerians. They facilitate their movements. They cover them. If you are depending on the armed forces to stop the killings, you will all die one by one. Every one of us must rise up. The armed forces are not neutral. They collude. They collude. They collude with the armed bandits. They kill people, kill Nigerians. They facilitate their movements. They cover them. If you are depending on the armed forces to stop the killings, you will all die one by one.
Yes, that is T.Y. Danjuma that just spoke now. And when you look at the screen, you can see Shetima. Shetima is the current vice president of one Nigeria terrorist state. And you see that Shetima rejects military crush on the Boko Haram terrorists. No, he doesn't want you to go and crush the terrorists. He wants you to negotiate with them and have them on a round table so that they will continue to exist because they are the soldiers of the caliphate. So, Okezi Ikwazu have a question to answer. Sanwo-Olu has a question to answer about how Nigerians were massacred in NSAS at Lekki Toll Gate. Sanwo-Olu has this to answer and to explain who ordered the massacre of Nigerians. Yes. Who ordered the massacre of Nigerians? Who directed you guys to pull the trigger? And why was it carried out? So Sanwo-Olu has this to explain to us. Now, Uzodinma, hey, this one, all of you know him now. This one has a lot to explain. Uzodinma has a lot to explain because it is in Imo State that he has carried out Izombe massacre, Owo Mama massacre, Okigwe, and it is still happening as we speak here now. Uzodinma has a lot to answer. Uzodinma has a lot to answer. Uzodinma has more and more and more to answer. Also, to the killing of Gulak, Uzodinma also have something to answer. How many of you remember that the former chieftain of PDP, Ahmed Gulak, Uzodinma has a question to answer and how to explain in a public statement of how he's exonerated IPOB, the Biafran people, from that alleged incrimination of Biafran people. So Uzodinma has a lot to answer, and his own is plenty. His own is plenty. Now, Wike has a lot to explain about Obi-Igbo massacre. Yes. Obi-Igbo massacre, while the NSAS protest was going on, Nigerian government used Wike to massacre Biafrans in Rivers State. So Wike has to explain exclusively who gave you the order, who directed you, who told you to do it this way, who told you to do it this way, how was it approved, and how far are you guys enjoying the massacre? Then you come to these other two people, Yusuf Makaji. He said he's DSS general. DSS general has to come and testify about all the sponsors of Boko Haram, which he knows and has in his palm and in their files. You need to come and unveil all the Boko Haram sponsors that are inside the Nigerian terrorist government. The facts and evidences are there in the media. Because you cannot say the sponsors of Boko Haram terrorists are known, then Nigerian government say don't unveil them. And then you say you guys are the Nigerian intelligence or security services of Nigeria. Then you come and see the other one they call Ahmed Abubakar, NIA, Nigerian Intelligence Agency Director General. So they work together. The DSS director and Ahmed Abubakar, they work together. They have to give us a concise report and testimony of all the names of the Boko Haram terrorist groups and the sponsors that are all in one Nigeria, masking themselves as government officials who are sponsoring the Boko Haram terrorists on a daily basis. But yet, they set up a platform and conditions that they have to always go back to negotiate and have peace deal and talk with the Boko Haram terrorists. While any Biafran that emerges to speak, the order is kill at sight. The order is kill at sight. Now, do you now understand why Mazi Nnamdi Kanu name all these people here? I've explained Danjuma to you. Buratai is supposed to be here. So this Lagbaja's face should be replaced to Buratai. Then Malami, I've explained to you the kidnapping of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. He said, come and explain how Nigerian law validate an international law, and those that sponsored it and everyone that are involved that gave them the information and the intel on how to kidnap Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and when Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was to be in Kenya and the location and the time and day. Then Wike, this is the one that led the massacre of Obibo, BIAFRANS. Umayi, come and tell us how the proscription of Biafrans came to be as terrorists, while Boko Haram terrorists are working freely in Nigeria and nobody is proscribing them. Fulani terrorists, nobody is proscribing them. Instead, they give them a beautiful name, bandit, while bandits are supposed to only engage in stealing some menial items. Bandits are not supposed to cut off babies' head, women and children, and to take over your communities. But what is happening is a terrorist invasion, but you people are calling it bandit. How did the proscription of IPOB came to be? And which people led to it? And the formation of a Bubagu terrorist group. How did it come to be, and why are people using it to kill Biafrans? This one is about Legi massacre, NSAS. Then Uzodinma, oh, this is the chieftain of the every massacre in Biafra land. Igbaz will come and explain to us how you collaborated with the Nigerian Army and the Nigerian Air Force and Navy under Buratai to invade Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's house to kill him. You ended up killing over 28 persons. Come and explain. Nigerian DSS and NIA, Abubakar Yusuf, Abubakar Ahmed and Yusuf Magaji. Come and explain to us and bring out all the names of the Boko Haram sponsors that you people have on your system. Some of you think that as Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is in a confined space, that his brain cells are not working. His brain cells are still working. He may make some mistakes, but on this very one, of naming these people and bringing them out on the list, he got it right. This very one is top notch. So all these people here should come and explain. They should come and explain their role one after another. Because it is because of all what they did here that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu arose to speak against, that they now call him and Biafrans terrorists, and then they kidnap him. While they are all glorifying and singing the praises of Boko Haram terrorists today and having meetings with them. So they should come and explain. Manner of Grace. Manner of Grace said, good evening, great Biafran. Can someone tell me how to contact the new UK rep? Okay, Manner of Grace. You see this number that is running on the screen? There's a number here that says BRGIE Info Minister WhatsApp numbers. Message this number on WhatsApp, and then I will forward you the UK rep contact number so that you can join the UK license and make your contributions to support Biafra government in exile and everything that we are doing. We need everybody to be on the same page. You have seen in different ways and have done evil to this very government, or you were deceived, so you went the wrong path, you sat on the fence. It is high time you came down from that very fence, because you have sat down on the fence for a very long time. It is not helping you. So come down. We are not expunging you because you sheepishly followed the wrong path. We need all of you back. We need you on the page to come and contribute financially to your freedom. We don't have positions to promote people to President of Biafra or Prime Minister of Biafra or acting prime minister of Biafra or ambassador of Biafra. No. What we need everybody to do is to bring your Ejema and your Eje, come and support the government so that we achieve what we are doing. It is what we do in Washington, D.C., and what we do in the homeland that will free our leaders. And we are very grateful to Omoyele Showore's commitment for standing up to carry out that protest. We continue to demand for his immediate release. Yesterday, BRGIE gave official statements. The office of the Prime Minister was live on air, and then the keynote on those addresses are: you either release Showore, Ejimako, and all the protesters, or the Nigerian terrorist government under Tinubu should be ready to face a larger protest that will emanate from Nigeria, to start from Abuja to all over the 36 contraption states of Nigeria. And then that protest will metamorphose into the diaspora globally. Our aim and objective is not just to talk about you arresting protesters in this protest, but it is to let the entire world know that Nigeria is an abattoir, that Nigeria is a shrine of injustice, that Nigeria is the den that destroys the life of babies, women, and children, most especially Christians. The protests will go in different forms. All of you will be shocked. We called on the revolutionary movement of Omoyele Showore's umbrella for them to get ready and team up. When they announce the next protest is going to be global. With the support of BRGIE, every Biafran and every Nigerian in diaspora who knows that their families, their babies, women, and children, that their lives are in jeopardy, that Boko Haram terrorists can cut off their heads anytime. Everybody will march in their countries of residence with placards showcasing the dead bodies of babies that have been massacred by these Boko Haram terrorists. Showcasing Nigerian terrorist government kidnapping Mazi Nnamdi Kanu from Kenya and imprisoning Mazi Simon Ekpa. Showcasing Nigerian terrorist government kidnapping and detaining and locking up all peaceful protesters that are protesting on the street, just asking for a change. In America recently, the citizens of America protested against Donald Trump, and the placard and the flyers were everywhere. And Donald Trump did not kidnap or detain anybody and lock them up. They went with their placard. They spoke all over America. You even saw, okay, inshallah. You even saw placards and caricature photos and images that were made of Donald Trump. It was circulated everywhere. Donald Trump did not send the NIA or the CIA or the FBI or any of the security forces in America to go and kidnap or lock up all the protesters. They protested and finished, they walked, go. Their voices were heard where they had to. They made the opera, and everywhere was a cock. Nobody cacked their voices because it is free speech. They have the right to gather as far as they are not breaking properties, destroying people's lives and properties, or carrying things and turning things upside down. No. You mobilize yourself and make the noise. Create the awareness and let people hear and know of what is happening. It is called a peaceful gathering. It is the government that decides whether it's going to be peaceful or whether they will turn it to riot. Because when they now go and hire a counter talks to come and start fighting, they turn it to something that is violence. So Nigerian terrorist government should be ready. This morning, the press briefing of our APM was yesterday night. This morning, we woke up to see that they have rushed to go and do what? To go and release Omoyele Sowore, Ejimako, and the protesters. After they finish release them, they now, over 50 of the Nigerian police and their talks, they came again. They racketed Omoyele Sowore again, as if he's a criminal. They took him in again and locked him up. Biafran people have proposed a 1-week lockdown. If all the protesters are not released, and you allow them to exercise their human right of freedom of protest. You cannot kidnap Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Then you also kidnap every voices that are standing up to protest for his release. Omoyele Sowore was one good voice. And he is still one good voice that have stood up to speak against the kidnapping of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and continuous incarceration. While all these idiots that you see their faces on the screen, they are against the release of Mazi Nnamdi. Most especially this idiot. This is the one. This is the person that is controlling all the Igbo useless terrorist politicians in Biafra land serving one Nigeria. Most of them are. Followed by this other idiot. And followed by Akpabio. Akpabio Senate President position was in order to do what? To inculcate him into the system and to use him to shut the mouth of Biafrans from his own end. Because Nigerian terrorists, they have to study everything. They have to study and see the fire and the trend of Biafra. They have to see a way of covering and stocking all the regions of Biafra into their very palm. So they have to look for some kind of useless positions to give some of you in key positions in Biafra land, so that it will be a way of pleasing some of you and shutting your people up. That is why Akpabio was made the Senate President of Nigeria. Not for any other thing, but just to do what? To shut Biafra down in the region where Akpabio comes out as a Biafran region. And also to cover his criminal conduct, because he's supposed to be behind bars for stealing money. So they had to do cover me, I cover you. We are corrupt to cover me, I cover you. We are corrupt to cover me, I cover you. That is what Nigerian terrorist government has become. So the 1-week lockdown of the Biafran people will come to be if you don't allow the peaceful protesters to protest along the street, demanding for their freedom in whichever way. And we encourage all Nigerians. Now, when we say all Nigerians now, some of you should not get us wrong. Because you say, oh, you're not addressing Nigerians. Yes, we are addressing Nigerians. Because our problems are not with those Nigerians. Our problems are with these evil leaders that have misled all of you and taken you to the graveyard. The evil people that you allow to rule over you are your problems. It's not you, the innocent indigenous person of Nigeria. The only crime you committed was for your mother and father to have brought you to this world inside Nigeria contraption. If you were given birth to in America or UK or Europe, will you have a problem by answering that name Nigeria? No, because you know you have a better identity. It's because your parents made themselves inside the contraption Nigeria while using that identity, so as they put you to bed, you now inherited that cause in Nigeria. So we don't have a problem with you. While I am talking about Nigerians now should get ready for the protest that should be coming, is that you have watched and learned and seen the Gen Zs in Nepal. You've seen in Madagascar. You've seen in Burkina Faso. You've seen in Mali. You've seen in Gambia. You've seen in Senegal. You've also seen in Kenya. You've also seen in many other places that you don't need to sit down to be wailing and gnashing your teeth and expecting that the same terrorist politicians that you have in power will change their mind overnight to come and start singing your praises or to come and start speaking on your behalf. No. Every day they are showing you their worst intentions. They are reuniting, they are having meetings with the Boko Haram terrorists every day. And you are seeing it with your kudu eyes. I came across a video today where I saw Cubana chief priest and Davido. They were having a meeting with President of France, Macron. And in that very meeting and discussion, it was all about their personal business. I want to ask some of you, most especially Biafrans and the entire Nigerian people, how much do you listen to Davido's music? How much do you adore Davido's music? You love and play Davido's music more than even Osadebe music. You love and play Davido's music more than Inya. You love and play Davido's music more than Flavor. You love and play Davido's music more than even the music that Odumeje brought out. You love Davido's music and play it more than every other music in Nigeria. But you see, in the midst of massacre and genocide of Christians, Davido is not using his music platform to sing about the genocide and the massacre, to expose Nigeria, to seek for help for the Christians. Davido is not coming to your aid. Davido is busy doing his business publicity with the France president, whether in France. Maybe you want to set up a business in France, maybe a restaurant or whatever. So he's going to make a lot of money. So he is after his money, that money that you have made him to gain. That money that you listen to his music and make it, share it, push it, like it, and is making so much money on Spotify, everywhere, every platform, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, anywhere you go, TikTok, his music is there. He's making the money. You are the one making him to make the money by pushing his music. But now, Boko Haram terrorists are massacring you. BRGIE are the one that had to take the massacre of Christians to America government. But the celebrities that you have, they cannot use their platform to create the awareness and to sing about the massacre of Christians. The only celebrity that we know is Abdul Karim, the one that sing Nigeria, Jaga Jaga, everything Jaga Jaga. And also is the one that sing Country Heart, Yemi, tell your papa, tell your mama, Country Heart. Aha. But the rest of them, they don't give a damn because they are making their money. But every day you are patronizing them. They give you people BB Niger to be watching. While you're watching BB Niger, Boko Haram terrorists are planning of how to enter your community. But they keep you busy with BB Niger. You'll be watching Nyash and breast on BB Niger, on how they are kissing on BB Niger. People will leave their homes. Instead of you to go and be kissing and touching Nyash behind camera, you prefer to put it on camera so that they will see that you're touching Nyash on camera on BB Niger. You see how madness goes? The same people that give you this thing, they hate to bring their body and show in social media. These people that want to bring this terrorist invasion into Nigeria. That is why you see their women, they use something to cover their eye, cover their face, because they don't want to see. But they are the one that give you the BB Niger to come and play. And in that BB Niger, they want you to open your nyash, open your breast, open your face, and be kissing on the social media, and be filming it and use it to do entertainment. But these people cover their wives' face. They cover their ladies' face. They cover their bodies. They don't want their body to be exposed. They don't want them to go and be kissing on camera, on television. Have you people seen anybody from the north? These people that used to cover face and say it's against their religion. Have you seen them participating in the BB Niger? Have you seen them participating in the BB Niger before? No, because they don't want to go there and be kissing and show their faces on the mirror, on the camera. They don't want to go there and be showing their empty yash. They don't want to go there and be showing everything about their body on BB Niger show. But they are the ones that set up the BB Niger for you to keep as a means of engagement, so that they will engage you. You focus on the television and be watching BB Niger. You will recharge your phone and be doing voting for BB Niger, so that you will see nyash and breast and how they kiss. While they keep you busy with BB Niger, they are planning of how to invade your next community. They calculate how many numbers of babies, women, and children head they have to cut off. They calculate the time, the day, the moment that they will invade your lands to come and kill you people. Yet, you are busy before the television and with your phone with BB Niger and Nollywood movies and Nigerian celebrity music. You all made the video what it is today by patronizing his music. But today, Davido cannot pick up his microphone to sing and create awareness about the massacre and the genocide that Christians are going through in Nigeria. But he is in France to negotiate business with Macron to his own personal interest. I salute all Biafrans. Tomorrow is our fundraising. Please make sure you appear. On Sunday is a US, North and South America town hall meeting. And there is a question we want to ask. Nigerian terrorist government, you kidnap Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, and then you now arrest and kidnap the protesters that came to protest to the release of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. You kidnap Jimako, Showore, and all the other protesters. The question now is, why was the protest against Goodluck Jonathan legal?
Every one of us must rise up. The armed forces are not neutral. They collude. They collude. They collude with the armed bandits. They kill people, kill Nigerians. They facilitate their movements. They cover them. If you are depending on the armed forces to stop the killings, you will all die one by one.
So, when Nigerians and all the politicians and all the lawyers and ministers and governors protested against Goodluck Jonathan, why was it legal? Why was it legal that all the governors and ministers and senators in Nigeria, the presidency, they protested against Goodluck Jonathan on how to rig him out and to take him out of office. Why was it legal? Why is it now that Sowore is protesting, Ejimako is protesting, and some other politicians are protesting? It has now become illegal. How and why has it become illegal? It is a question everybody need to go and ask this Nigerian terrorist government. Yes, please go and ask them and let them come and explain. If all the ministers of the gospel and all the governors and ministers and senators of Nigeria and all the lawyers and all the senior advocates of Nigeria and the attorneys of Nigeria, the chief judges of Nigeria, all of them, the celebrities, the musicians, the Nollywood actors, everybody in Nigeria, the youth, Oyedepo was there, NNJ was there. What is the other one? All of them, they all participated. Soyinka, they were all there to protest against Goodluck Jonathan, to remove him from office. Why was it not a problem when they protested to weeks Goodluck Jonathan out of office? So why is it now that Ejimako is joining a protest? Sowore is joining a protest. And some other lawyers are joining protests. And then other protesters are joining protests. It now become a crime. Oh, because this one is about Biafra. This one is not about Nigeria being one. It's about Biafra coming to exist. We are very happy that everyday Nigerian terrorist governments are one way or another explaining to the world that Nigeria is on the verge of entering full scale of Islamic jihad, Islamic takeover, turning the country into Islamic country, Islamic Republic. We are happy that when you come out, you say you are arresting or kidnapping Ejimako. You say you are arresting or kidnapping the lawyers or the attorneys or the protesters. You arrest and kidnap the presidential aspirant of Nigeria, Omoyele Sowore, because of what? Protesting to the release of Nnamdi Kanu. There are some things that are happening that people are not understanding. We drag Nigeria to the US Congress, opening their nyash bare about the kidnapping of Nnamdi Kanu, the massacre of Christians, and everyone that have been unlawfully imprisoned and detained and massacred. Then, Nigeria, in return, are struggling to defend the Christian genocide. And they are sending their lobbies and lawmakers, contacting people to go to America. Then as you are going to America and trying to make move, more dead bodies of Christians are emanating from Nigeria every day. All the video evidences that were not making the rounds before, they are coming out every day. Everybody are having the courage now to now come out and speak up. Why? Because we have opened the door. That congressional briefing in US, we opened the door. That congressional testimony, we opened the door. Yes. We made everybody to know that it is opportunity for all of them to come and speak. Yes. We opened the door and then we brought it to the world to see and understand that it is time. Okay, I thought I shared the space of the screen just now. It's not this one I shared. It's not this one I shared. Okay. We opened the door with this explosive testimony of the US Congress. Everybody now have the courage, the opportunity, and the chance to come and showcase what they have and to tell. Then, as all these are happening, Nigerian terrorist governments are now explaining and showing the entire world that they have another bad side of them that they did not even show. That is detaining every protesters that protest to the release of Nnamdi Kanu. Starting from his lawyers, they detain his lawyer, they detain Showore. So they don't understand what they are piling up against themselves. That's why we just love the way the game is playing out. But we want to say a very big thank you to Showore for being the sacrificial lamb. Yes, because if he was not the sacrificial lamb, Nigeria Nyash would not be open at this very time while we are cooking another one in Washington, D.C. He is opening the Nyash again in Nigeria. So God bless him for making himself a useful tool to the freedom of the contrapt Nigerians in Nigeria who happen to find themselves there against their own will. I salute all of you, and I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow in the fundraising and also on Sunday in the town hall. Thank you all for your sacrifices and keep up the good work as we continue to move on with speed. Ndewo Umu Chineke from me. From here, it is good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night to some of you, and good afternoon. Ndewo.
Life is a process. No matter how you go about it. Mazi Ogechukwu Nkere, Omalicha Woke, the Biafran Republic Government Exile Finance Minister, is humbly campaigning for global Biafran financial support for the purpose of Finland Convention, Biafran Defense Forces, and redeclaration-related activities. I appreciate all Biafrans who have been supporting our liberation movement. I also urge everyone to massively support more than ever, especially in these critical times. Oh, my fellow lovely great Biafrans, let's come together and support our Prime Minister, Mazi Simon Ekpa, who is currently working tirelessly to hand over our freedom to us this year, 2024. Freedom is coming, yeah. Yo. Masi Ogechukwu Nkere. Salute every Biafran especially. Yeah. Ogechukwu kama. Ogechukwu kaina yo no. Ogechukwu kama. Onyamana gidi bakulo wunu. Ogechukwu kama. Welu didi chukwu kasebele. Ogechukwu kama. Ogechukwu kama. Si Ogechukwu Nkere nekelunu. Ogechukwu kama. Ogechukwu kaina yo no. Ogechukwu kama. Ogechukwu kaina yo na nyasi. Ogechukwu kama. There is no magic to progress and success in life. Life gives back what you give to it. It takes a man who believes in himself to create wealth. So keep working hard and never lose hope in what you believe in. Ayakata. Life is not easy. Make it take and judge. I want to use this special opportunity to recognize great Dim Odumegwu. I can't also forget General Philip Effiong. Okama Daloso. Come check that one man on the ground. Umwoma kubigwe Anye na fuakolunu Airborne De facto government in homeland A special recognition to every Biafran who have been supporting from day one. May Elohim continue to flourish you in your different endeavors. He says, Mazinam de Gano, Ohamadike, one of Biafra, EKID. The Prime Minister, Obatobie, Ogechukwu Keresimu Kelekio, Mukoma, Ogechio, Ogechukwu Kama, Ogechukwu Kaina, no, Ogechukwu Kama, Onyamana Gidi Gidi Bakulo Wunu, Ogechukwu Kama, Welunti Chukwu Gazebele, Ogechukwu Kama, Ogechio, Ogechukwu Kama, Mama Biko Yobo Lisa, Ogechukwu Kama, Ogechukwu Kaina Yono, Ogechukwu Kama, Ogechukwu Kaina Yona Nyasi, Ogechukwu Kama. Ayole, Ayiga Kolole Garole Nu, Uwi Bole, Chetakwa Nandubo Fuo. 1 + 1 is 2, 2 + 2 is 4, Onye puru chi uzo akwa no Joy. Don't give up when it's so close. It's so close. Ogechukwu Kama, never you give up, no. Ogechukwu Kama, believe in your dreams, brother. Ogechukwu Kama, never you say no. Ogechukwu Kama, Ogechukwu Kaina Yon, Ogechukwu Kama, never you down your bed, no. Ogechukwu Kama, keep your head up, keep on fighting, Ogechukwu Kama. A big shout out to Mazi Ogechukwu Kere. I salute you, my PM, Mazi Simon Iba. Life is sweet when you're patient. The greatest shout out goes to the media team, great talents. They won.